Hey, Liam. Is that is that Liam? Liam, happy birthday! It is. Hey, Brian. Hi, before work. I got you working on your birthday. Fucking capitalism. What's up, Chris? Hey, JS. Angie. Hey, Prince. Sheila. Um, how long are you gonna work? Because I kind of hoping to give you a free pack to open for your birthday. Okay. Hello, Poopy Prophet. Hello, where my grandma at? Power duo. I think about ready to start here. Right there. I guess that's a good spot. Go. Check. All right. Live on TikTok.
Smart people don't like me.
All right. We're just about set. Hey, Ashley. Okay. I think we're ready to go. Clutch. Live on TikTok right now. All right. We are live on. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Max. Welcome in, folks. Welcome in.
Hello, Dan. Dan the man.
Hey, Bud Lightyear. Forgot I had that on. Sorry. Hold on.
Babe, wake up, my favorite show is on.
Hey, Trey. Hey, MB. Off real quick.
Look at that guy, how handsome he is.
Sucks. Hey, Shelly. Hey, Rhea. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Broken Camera. We're gonna bring our first guest up in just a couple minutes for everybody to flow in. Hardly any setup today. Yeah, I didn't have a lot to do, I guess. They need to get on YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now. Welcome in, everybody. And have people call in. We do need to set that up. We gotta get like a Google Voice number. Give me 1 second, y'all. It's more than liberals and conservatives. Everyone's wrong about everything. Yeah, look, I love the brain terminating, the thought terminating argument that it's both sides and everybody lies and blah blah blah. But like if you actually start to factor these things in, it's the Democratic Party is wrong about a few things. The Republican Party is wrong about all of things. Like those are different, right? You recognize that like when one party is wrong about a few things and the other party is wrong about everything, then we probably shouldn't be supporting that party. You're all talk and no proof, man child. Oh, just request up. Man adult or whatever. I don't know. I got proof of everything. Tell me what. Just give me a topic. Climate change? You guys are cooked on that one. Is it political violence? Wrong about that. Tax policy? Really wrong about that. Tariffs? Super mega wrong about that one. The Constitution? Y'all don't care about that shit. What is it? COVID vaccine? Y'all were wrong about that. Thank you for supporting Charlie Kirk. Is he not a conservative? Watching Charlie Kirk's memorial, don't ask. They're making him a martyr. What else is new? Yeah, I expected that. Have you heard about the executive order to do with women's financial independence? No, I haven't. Science deniers. All right, we're going to go to our first guest. Here we go. First guest. Hi, welcome.
Howdy. Yeah, how's your day going?
It's all right so far.
Yeah, I'd say I disagree that conservatives are wrong about literally everything. I think that's a hyperbolic statement. But
All right. Can you tell me like a thing that conservatives are right about?
like today in the present Republican Party platform, or just like general conservative beliefs. Like,
Yeah, I mean the Republican Party platform, I would say pretty much since Reagan. I don't think they've been the only good things they've ever done are things that were bipartisan. So if I were to give an example of recently, I personally appreciated Project Warp Speed, but that's something that both Democrats and Republicans wanted. So if it's something that only Republicans want ever since Reagan, it has been dog shit. That is my take.
all right, I'll say this. I'm not totally familiar with Republican Party platform. It's been a while since I've read it, so I think it would be hard for me to directly pull from that. But I
Well,
would
you could
say
just pull from what Trump is doing and what Republicans are supporting, right?
I don't particularly think Trump is very much a conservative. I don't think he's. I think when I look at Trump, I think he's quite literally the opposite of the most conservative values that I care about.
Okay, well, the entire Conservative Party is supporting him outside of like Thomas Massie. So it's either you say that Trump isn't a conservative and the Republican Party is no longer conservative and you don't support them, or you recognize that conservatives right now don't have whatever beliefs you have. Like there's something that's missing there.
No, it's because the beliefs that Trump is promoting, like stuff like tariffs, like they did expanded use of executive orders. These are things that have been markedly against conservative values for the past 40, 50 years. I mean, they objectively are not conservative things to do. The idea, if you had told someone 15 years ago that a Republican president would be supporting tariffs, would be against like free market principles.
Yeah,
That
no,
is
I mean
not
you're
a
not wrong.
that's not
Okay,
a
how about that? All right, so
paleo-conservative
you're not a
type
Trump
of.
supporter, right?
No.
But you are a conservative.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so let's cut out the Trump specific stuff
Mhm.
because obviously no reasonable person can defend anything Trump is doing.
No, it's impossible.
So
I
give me a
don't want to.
conservative value that you have that you think is like a good thing for the country.
Okay, one example I would say generally, free market, laissez-faire policies are pretty good, for like economic growth. Do you
Free
disagree?
market, laissez-faire. So no regulations.
I mean, some regulations, but to a limited extent, allowing like economic growth is good.
Okay. So do you think that it's more important to do things for the benefit of corporations and the wealthy rather than for like most consumers?
I think those aren't mutually exclusive.
Okay. So can you give me an example of a regulation that conservatives are against that would result in economic growth?
I think a lot of zoning regulation when it comes to housing are pretty bad. I think if you look at somewhere like California, one of the biggest reasons why there are housing shortages is because it's not very easy to build houses. I think when we look at a lot of the housing problem, the biggest way to solve it is to fix the supply of housing. Like if you can like for example, wet controls for housing does not work. It objectively doesn't work. It has been tried so many times. Maybe even I can't remember the name of this one of the Martin Obama's like economic advisors, but he said there is no um when controls are almost more destructive to cities housing than like literally having a carpet bomb of a city. They're like one of the most destructive things you can do. When you increase the supply of housing and you create incentives for a city or community's housing to increase, you generally see like actual success and you see people building houses and you see the prices drop.
Um, so a couple things about that. I'm not
Mhm.
necessarily saying you're wrong. I'm not fully informed
And
on
there are
the
some
effects
liberals that would
of
agree
rent
with this.
control.
Yeah.
But the
Mhm.
couple things that I want to mention is number one. Well, that's not really like a conservative value. That's an America problem. It's not left or right. I'm pretty sure. Are there a bunch of Republicans that are trying to loosen zoning regulations? It's
Yeah, I would say generally most Republicans would be in favor of diminishing zoning regulations to have more housing. Like, I don't think I think it's a position most Republicans would have no issue with. I think a lot of
well.
Democrats would have issue with that.
Are you talking about the voters? Or are you talking about the actual politicians? Because ultimately, what I'm referring to is I'm referring to the people that are doing legislation, the people that are being supported by the voters.
Mhm.
Are there?
Solely them?
Say that again.
You solely referring to elected politicians? Is that what your point is?
Well,
Well, of course they're hypocritical and they lie about a lot of
there
stuff.
are.
So
I'm going to find a Republican that has a based opinion, right, or a
yeah,
conservative that has a based opinion. But if the people they're supporting don't have that opinion, then it's kind of a waste, right?
being people that like what I'm voting for, if they don't have those opinions, it's a problematic.
Yeah,
Is
I mean,
that
can you give me an example of a single Republican or conservative politician that is pushing for expanded zoning regulations?
you mean diminished zoning regulation?
Diminished, excuse me. Yeah.
I would say people like Thomas Massey would probably be against that. I can't think of it off my head, but there are plenty of conservatives that are against diminished zoning regulations. That is not a uncontroversial position among Republicans.
Okay. And then the second thing I was going to bring up was that this also is kind of like a local issue more than anything.
Yeah, but we can have state policies that um can support and promote that on a local level. Like it's not something that can be done, and if we work on it, it can very much help reduce the housing problem. I think in California, especially, if you really combated the zoning regulations in California, you could see a dramatic decrease in housing prices. But I mean, it's fair if you take issue with this. There are other topics that I think conservatives as a whole are usually right on. And there are topics I think people on the left are tend to be right on as well. But I think the idea that conservatives or conservative values as a whole are generally always wrong. It's just I think it's hyperbolic.
Um, yeah. So I mean, I just did a quick search. This really doesn't seem like a conservative or a liberal topic. Even in my local county in
Mhm.
Florida, this is something that's debated on not on a liberal or conservative. It's more of a NIMBY versus YIMBY thing, like not in my backyard versus yes in my backyard.
Yeah, but I'd say on a larger scope, generally, Republicans view like regulating like housing too much as being a bad thing. Like you see people on the left, or like say, even during Kamala Harris's campaign, she promoted having the idea of having some kind of rent controls, things of
Well,
that nature, which I think was pretty bad. I think
where in her campaign? In fact, if anything, her campaign is the opposite of what you just described. Her campaign wanted to expand, make it so that we could build 3 million new homes over the course of her.
yeah, she also supported rent controls.
Where? Where in her policy? 82
I can
pages. I
pull
read the
up.
whole thing. Where?
Fine,
The only thing related to rent that I'm aware of is that she wanted to ban the they have a lot of like slumlords and corporate landlords use AI and AI powered apps to raise the rent. Basically, what the app does is it'll analyze all of the rents in the area and it raises their it gives you the exact number to maximize the amount that you could charge your tenant before they leave. Essentially, it's predatory apps that are bad for regular people and only good for the mega rich. That's the only thing that you could even think would be considered rent control in her policy. All right. In the meantime, if you're
that's what I was referring to. That's what I was referring to.
oh okay, so I
Yeah.
mean, are you against
Yeah, I
banning of
am.
that app?
I think banning that would be very ineffectual. I think it makes it. I feel when you it's like the policy is like breaking the thermometer because your house is hot or cold. Like it doesn't actually impact the pressures that are leading the prices increasing. It just diminishes your way to actually make prices like match up with
Okay,
that.
I'm gonna describe the app to you again. I think you might not be understanding. What the app does is it uses AI and
Hmm.
analyzes all of the rents in the area and the history of rentals and tenants, and
Hmm.
it gives you a number where this is the max you can raise the rent to before your tenant leaves.
Hmm.
It's the how could banning that not be good for most Americans?
How would it not? I genuinely don't see what benefit ban it would make. Or not like
It would
like if you
okay,
could
so
explain.
it would make it so that there is some kind of downside to renters raising their price too high, or sorry, tenant landlords raising their price too high. So right now, if a landlord wants to, right, they can just raise it to the absolute maximum, and everyone
Mhm.
is just they're at the breaking point. They can't. It's not worth it for them to leave, but they have to keep working paycheck to paycheck to stay, right?
Mhm.
Versus you ban this, and now landlords, if they want to raise prices and their tenant leaves, they're actually losing money.
Yeah, I think artificial incentives on how landlords should have their prices be done. I don't think that works. Like it genuinely does not work. We have tried like harder core policies or even softer core ways of like altering the way um like rent control prices work. And I think we should generally just leave
You
landlords to
know
do
this
what
isn't
they
rent
do.
control, right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
It's not explicit rent control, but it's heading in that direction for sure. I think that generally is it's negative.
The landlords can still charge whatever they want. All it's doing is making it so that it's a level playing field. If they want to raise their rent, they risk the tenant leaving. So there is a drawback to trying to squeeze the absolute maximum amount from your tenant.
Yeah, I think the free marketing competition covers that. I don't think there's any reason for that.
No. Free market. That's that's what it would be without the app. The app makes it so that they can fix their prices, right?
Hey, Dan, may I just for like a half a second?
Yeah. Substantive.
So, how are you? So I actually did a couple of videos about this app like a while ago, actually back on my first original page, right? And Dan, you're not giving enough credit. It does more than actually give like predictive amounts. It also has a system set up where it blocks off and it shows that less apartments are available for rent, and so then you can justify the higher costs. And there was a whole area of different apartments that were using this actual software, and they were getting sued about it. So that was one of the reasons why she brought it up. So it was a legal case where literally not only were they using it to set the price point for these apartments, but they were blocking out apartments, saying that they weren't available to justify the increase. And then they also compared, and so they could see what everyone else was charging. It was a whole thing. So no, it's not free market. It's not, anything along those lines. It's literally, to Dan's point, a bunch of slumlords looking to take advantage of people when they know that they need to rent because it's too much to buy a house.
Then you can say this, and this might be true for some individual people abusing it. But I would say generally, when a software is not responsible, um, for prices being the way they are, I don't. I
You're
find
right.
I'm
It's
very
the
unconvinced
people
that we're
using the
moving this
software.
software.
Right. It's the people using the software to
Exactly.
artificially inflate the actual cost of places to rent.
I'm not convinced it's an artificial inflation.
It's literally a lawsuit about it.
Yeah, you can make a lawsuit about a bunch of things. I don't.
Yeah,
I
Okay,
don't.
they
just
won the lawsuit.
really quick. So, what would be the negative to banning this app? Can you tell me?
Because I think it would increase inefficiencies. I think generally,
Inefficiency for who?
for the housing
For the
market.
landlords. No, not for the market. For the landlords. It would make it so that a landlord would have to make a decision. Okay, do I raise rent and risk going a month or two without rent if my tenant leaves? Or do I just I do a cost of living raise rather than a big raise? Do I do no raise? Right? They have to weigh those options, and then the free market will balance that out. Versus the app that just says, "Don't weigh those options. You can raise the rent $275 before they have to leave."
Yeah,
Statistically,
You do realize if the prices go too high on the app can like suggest that you decrease prices. You do know that.
did you
Like
even?
it suggests decreases very
hey,
often if you raise
Travis, quick
prices too
question
high.
for you. Do you own property?
Do I own property at the moment? No, I don't.
Oh, okay. So
I
you're
live on
not
the
a
farm.
landlord.
I'm a
So,
student.
okay.
Yeah, but the app suggests decreases in prices very often. It
Very often.
adjusts to
Wait,
market.
really?
Yeah, it does.
Can you tell me where you got that information?
Where I got information?
Yeah.
I
Meantime, how are you, Santana?
Good, good. Just
it's not letting me put the like show a screenshot, but it's from the foundation of the Foundation for Economic Education. They did an analysis of the app and what the how it operates. And it suggests decreases to prices. This is why housing is obviously more expensive in California than it is in like Phoenix, Arizona. Like it isn't just people just artificially inflating the apps. That might be true for some instances, but in general, these apps are reflections of where the market is at in an area.
Okay.
And removing the app is not going to magically make prices drop. It won't do anything about that.
All right. Let's look it up. You said the
Yeah, they did an
Foundation
overview. Yeah,
for Economic
yeah,
Education.
they released an article in 2024. They did an overview of Harris's policy over this
The Foundation for Economic
for
Education,
economic
right?
education. Yeah.
We're gonna look it up.
Let me give you the exact title so you get the one I was quoting.
Very helpful. Thank you. What are we talking about?
It's the title is Beware of Harris's disastrous housing price control policies.
Beware of Harris disastrous
Housing price control policies.
Okay.
Does it pull up?
There we go. Okay. All right. Among the most troubling of Harris's proposals are her calls for a national rent control scheme and prohibition of pricing algorithms that help landlords set base prices. Okay, so already we're starting off on a wonderful foot where national rent control scheme kind of sounds like they might be on the right, but let's read.
Yes.
I'll read. We'll just go ahead and read what they have to say about that,
Mhm.
because the prohibition of pricing algorithms is more accurate here, that help landlords set rents and based on market conditions. Right. That's
Yeah.
what we're talking about. I kind of don't care about what helps landlords. I'm more interested in what helps tenants. There are way more tenants than there are landlords, and they need
What
the
helps
help.
landlords generally helps the markets operate more efficiently too. So that's what I'd say to that. I'd say helping landlords and helping their tenants are not mutually exclusive things.
Okay, so when tenants have more money in their pocket, they have more money to spend, which stimulates the economy. But let's read. We'll read. We'll give Daniel J.
Yeah.
Mitchell the benefit of the doubt. Here are some fundamental truths about already off to a really rocky start. Fundamental truths. Any economist will tell you that economics is not an exact science. So starting it off with fundamental truths.
You're being a bit semantic here. Like obviously that's hyperbolic.
Okay.
But,
All right. Well, we're just
here's
listen.
the
It's
point
just
now.
two red flags in a row. Here are some fundamental truths about economics that politicians won't tell you. First, bad monetary policy causes higher prices, not greedy businessmen or landlords. Do you really think we should read the rest of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, the executives from Kroger admitted that that greedy business owners
I mean,
cause
just
higher prices.
because there are exceptions to a rule doesn't mean that generally
Yeah, they said
the government are responsible for our price and for inflation.
She said during the pandemic, multiple executives for different companies got together and decided to increase prices beyond inflation rates for additional profits.
Yeah, again, I'm
So-
not familiar with who you're quoting, but I'm saying the general rule is the case that generally you can match up high government spending to inflationary periods. That's just generally true.
Wait a second.
That generally is the case. I mean, it might not be true every single time, but for the most part, that is what is the
Do you know
cause
what the
of inflation.
OPEC Plus deal is?
Say that again.
Do you know what the OPEC Plus deal is?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of speed run it. Long story short, it was a deal that Donald Trump forced OPEC into because people were losing money because the price of oil was dropping near the pandemic. Blah blah blah. Long story short, Joe Biden, after the world opened back up after the pandemic, Joe Biden went to OPEC and said, "Hey, can you drop the cost of oil? Right? Can you actually drop the cost?
Can you
because we
produce
don't
more
need it."
oil, which will
Yeah.
artificially drop the cost down?
Yeah. And they said no. And like, there's more to the story, but the key point is no, because people were paying for the additional cost. And so what incentive would they have to make less money? They realized they could make more money by selling the same amount of product, so with higher prices. And the point is, any opportunity that the wealthy get to actually make an additional profit, they're always going to make that additional profit. That's why even with tariffs, right? The reason why we say that consumers pay the tariffs is because those business owners, they don't eat the cost of the actual tariff. They pass them on to the consumer. So again, I'm a little bit confused as far as you thinking that like the business owners or the wealthy aren't the ones that's causing higher prices.
I never said that they have zero impact. But I would read the article as as hyperbolic and exaggerated. And it might not be
I
the
do
best
wanna-
source, but
I appreciate that you call it an article now, because you said it was a study. Now that I'm looking at this is literally just one guy's opinion.
I think I was mixing two different. There was a study on this on the article, but it wasn't from the Foundation of Economics. I was mixing two. I apologize for that. That's my bad. But that isn't a study. That's my mistake. But I'll agree that that probably is not the most um accurate source. I could try and look something up. But the app does suggest decreases. It does do that. It doesn't always increase as much as you want. Like there are decreases into the app. But um again, the rule can be generally true that um government spending is inflationary. It increases liquidity in the economy, and that's generally the cause of a lot of inflation. And it can be true that some like businesses very often do price cuts. That does take place. I don't deny that.
And what
I think combating government spending is a very good step. If
and
we want to combat
conservatives
inflation
spend
before.
more than liberals. That's you're proving it. What you just said. If
Mhm.
excessive government spending leads to inflation, then you're proving the caption.
Because
Because conservatives
lie.
every time spend more, right?
Conservatives lie and don't actually do conservative policies. As to Republicans, at least.
However you want to paint the pig with the lipstick on the pig, whatever you want to. If you
It's not lipstick on the pig.
you
It's
can just if you'd like to admit that there hasn't been a real conservative party since Reagan, we could do that. That's fine.
It's not that there hasn't been a real conservative party since Reagan. It's that the politicians that are elected very often lie because they're not good people and they don't have actual plans not to
Okay.
enact
All right.
policies.
Great. So we're in agreement then. When I say conservatives, I'm talking about the current conservatives. I'm sorry that the Teddy Roosevelts no longer exist. That I would love a Teddy Roosevelt kind of candidate. We don't have that. We have people like Ted Cruz, unfortunately. So it sounds like we agree on this. Right? You're saying, oh yeah, well, if they were actually following
on
conservative,
economic policy, I would say I would agree that conservatives have been very bad and are not that for the past 40 years they've not been doing a good job. I think we'd be totally in agreement there.
okay,
At least on Republicans for the most part.
then we're on the same page.
Yeah. I would say there's probably one other thing I would say I think conservatives are generally right on. So that's probably immigration to some extent. Not I wouldn't say the Trumpian like MAGA version of it is good, but I would say to some extent we need to be but when we look at immigration, I think the biggest fact a lot of people seem to ignore is when we bring people into a country. Now I think generally immigration is a good thing for the most part, but we have to look at social cohesion, about how about the values and the principles we have in common. Now, I don't think we should be discriminating people based on their like their skin color or immutable characteristics. But I think we generally should have a country where people can agree on core values. And I think one of the main faults I think with the left's view of immigration is they don't really seem to think about social cohesion. They seem to think that countries are just economic opportunity zones.
What core
I think that
values
that's
are you referring to?
core values. I would say, like if you believe Declaration of Independence per se, if you believe in like civil liberties, human rights, things of that nature.
Are,
If
are
you
there
don't
a
have-
large amount of immigrants coming in that don't believe in human rights that you're aware of? Because half
Well,
of the American population apparently doesn't believe in human rights. 77 million people didn't really believe in human rights when they voted for Donald Trump, right? So
I think that's an exaggeration, but I would say there are plenty of people in the world that do not share the same conception of civil liberties
Are
than
there-
American does.
There's most of the Republican Party don't think that transgender people should have rights. They think they should be
That is insane.
They think that they should be restricted
Look.
in multiple ways. And then you even have Donald Trump who's pushing for some type of legislation to ban transgender people from having access to their Second Amendment right. Transgender rights are human rights.
I mean, I don't. But the idea that you think Republicans don't believe like trans people should have human rights as a whole is insane.
that is
Well,
that,
if
wait,
you-
that is true though.
It objectively is not. I don't,
Okay,
I don't
all right,
understand
all
how you
right.
come to that
Let me
conclusion.
object. I like that you're saying objectively.
But the
So-
majority of Republicans believe transgender people shouldn't have any human rights at
Okay,
all. Like,
do you
that's
think-
insanely hyperbolic?
Do you think that people should have the right to use the restroom?
People should have the right to use the restroom.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Do you think that people who serve this country for decades should have access to their retirement?
I mean, it's not a right. I'd say generally you should have that, but it's not a
Okay,
right.
yeah. The current Republican Party doesn't agree with you. They
Yeah.
they kicked everyone out of the military. Every trans service member, they kicked them all out of the military. And
Mhm.
in regards to the Air Force specifically, they're not even going to pay them their pensions, even if they worked for over 20 years.
Would you say the same people that rejected the COVID vaccine? Do you think they have a right to pension and to? What you
So
say,
there's a
those
couple
are-
differences here. Number
Mhm.
one, when you sign up for the military, you sign up for having to get vaccinated. There's nothing about
True.
whether or not
Not for
your gender
specific
identity matches
vaccinations.
what the current president
Not for
likes.
specific vaccinations. You sign up for some vaccine, not for every. Okay, not for every vaccination. You didn't sign up to do the COVID vaccination when you joined.
That's
Wait,
not
okay.
true. The military signs up for well, not a pamphlet, but a long list.
Is it
of-
panel?
Yeah,
I know the word you're looking
that
for.
didn't include COVID until very recently. So that's
Yeah. Well, again, the military receives a long list of vaccinations
True.
that aren't even public vaccinations, including when they get ready to deploy. They're vaccinated, and they even have certain ones that. Yeah, I won't talk about that, but
Yeah, but it's
regardless,
not like you sign a
there's-
contract that you have to get every single vaccination that ever comes out in existence. Like that's
you have
obviously
to get
not what
every
you sign
single
up
one
for.
that the military tells you have to get to. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Not everyone that ever comes out, but if the military says you have to get it, you have to get it.
Yeah, and the military changed and introduced new vaccines. Some people were comfortable with that. So
okay.
I mean,
Well,
sure.
then so and now we go to point number 2, right? Which is
By the way, it's not a right. Getting your pension is not a civil liberty or human right. Like this
Okay.
is a massive.
all right. So
stretch
what
of
do you consider a human right then?
I would say a human right would generally be your right to property, your right to your own bodily like autonomy, and your right to like your life. I think this is generally,
Okay.
and there are things that branch out
So
of that.
we'll
but
start
those
to
are
the right
general
to
principles.
property. When Donald Trump is pushing for trans people to not be able to own firearms, that right is gone, right?
Oh wait, what legislation what EO has he suggested that would do that? Because I mean, Donald Trump says a lot of crazy stuff, and I mean, this might be the case, but I mean, I don't really think he's actively brought forth legislation that is introducing that. And if that is the case, now to accept that, yeah, that is a violation.
Trump DOJ is looking at ways to ban transgender Americans from owning guns. This was September 4th.
All right, let's see what he's doing to do that.
Wait, are you saying because he hasn't proposed a policy yet? Like, we're good?
No, I'm generally curious.
Okay.
I might be wrong on this. I'm generally curious.
In the
to see
wake of the Minneapolis Catholic Church shooting, senior Justice Department officials are weighing proposals to limit transgender people's right to possess firearms, according to 2 officials familiar with the internal discussions. The talks, described as preliminary in nature, appear to build an idea that has gained some currency in conservative media since the Minneapolis shooting that killed 2 children and injured 21, most of them children, at Annunciation Catholic Church. An attack that police say was carried out by a 23-year-old transgender woman. Such a move would represent a dramatic escalation of Trump's administration's fight against the rights of transgender Americans. President Donald Trump has issued a series of executive orders on the topic, including one barring transgender people from serving in the military, another ordering federal prisons to move transgender inmates to facilities corresponding to their gender assigned at birth.
Would you not agree that this report is a bit of a stretch? It's literally a confidential source said had in preliminary talks within the Department of Justice. I don't think I would. When literally no action has been
This
taken in this
wouldn't be
direction,
Donald Trump's first.
it is
This
very
wouldn't be
very
Donald
difficult to
Trump's
go from
first attempt
this.
to
No,
actually
my point. You're
infringe
using
on
this to
someone's
jump to
Second
the
Amendment
conclusion
right
that
because
the
literally
majority of
he was the last
conservative
president
Trump
to
voters are
actually
against
infringe on
people having
someone's Second
human
Amendment
rights
right with the
in
bump
general.
stock ban.
No, again, you're citing a CNN report that's using a confidential source about preliminary talks in the DOJ to jump
Again,
to the assumption
this
that
would
most
not
MAGA
be-
people are against trans people
Just to be
having
clear,
human rights.
this
That is
this
a massive jump.
this wasn't just a CNN report. It was reported by multiple outlets to the point where the
Mm-hmm.
NRA responded. If it was really bullshit, the NRA wouldn't have bothered responding. They spoke out against Trump. That's how serious this was.
But cite the
again,
report. What did they say against Trump?
wait. Again, Donald Trump.
What? No.
Donald
Like,
Trump
let's
literally-
actually look to what
Can
the
you
NRA
just
said.
listen
Because
for 1
I
second?
sincerely doubt they
Craps.
condemn.
Wait, can you not hear Santana?
Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear you. Like, does your mic? I generally could not hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, I couldn't earlier. I'm hearing you now, but I wasn't hearing you before.
Okay. Donald Trump was literally the last president to actually institute anything that infringed on the Second Amendment right. And he is on record telling Mike Pence in front of everyone that he believes that we should just take people weapons and give them due process later. Donald Trump has an affinity for this type of thing. This is not out of the realm of possibility. And when you take the fact that, again, he did the bump stock ban, he has openly said
Yeah, I
that he
disagree with the bump
give
stock
people
ban as well.
weapons, and then he's also signed executive orders specifically targeting transgender people. All of these things set the stage to actually verify what those reports say.
Yeah, and again, this could be the case, and if that is true, then yes, Trump is against civil liberties, and that's a bad thing. And I would stand against that as well. I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't understand what the legitimate this came. It doesn't affect my central claim that we should generally let people in this country who share beliefs in civil liberties and in those basic fundamental
Yeah,
values.
the,
If you
the
don't feel those
Republican Party
beliefs,
does not
you
believe in
don't.
those things. And the reason you're saying, by the way, the whole reason
And
you
your
brought that
point
up,
is,
that you said we should have people that agree on our core values, is because
yeah.
you said that that's something conservatives are right about in regards to immigration. You're saying that liberals don't think about social cohesion because immigrants might not have the same core values. And I asked you what core values, and you brought up something that Republicans don't believe in. What?
Okay,
Where is the vast? Where are the vast swaths of
You
immigrants
think
that are coming in?
Republicans as a whole, you think Republicans as a whole disagree with the idea of people having civil liberties? You think as a whole Republicans are against that?
Depends on the civil liberties for who. Yes, liberals are for civil liberties for all Americans that are not incarcerated, and even in that case, obviously, incarcerated individuals have some liberties. Whereas conservatives are only really down. The only one they totally agree with is for straight white cis men. That's the only one they totally agree with.
Why?
They don't agree.
Why
Yeah, so they don't agree with the civil liberty of being able to make your own healthcare decisions in regards to women. Liberals do. Republicans do not.
I would agree that's an issue of priorities in what you think in like people conservatives will argue that and the fetus has
It was one of
rights
your
to certain
three.
human
You
liberties.
literally one of your three. When I asked you, okay, what is a human
Exactly.
right? You
And
said
life,
bodily
life is
autonomy.
also
You
one of
said
them.
it.
Life and life as well. I think life generally outweighs bodily autonomy. I think your right to life outweighs people's bodily autonomy for the most part. Um, so yeah, the civil liberties have a hierarchy. Like your right to life obviously outweighs your property rights.
Okay, you're
Like
saying your as in like other Americans, right?
say that again. What?
You're saying your right to life.
Yeah, a person's right. Would you disagree that a person's right to live should generally supersede another person's right to property?
It
You think that's an
depends.
insane
Wait,
statement?
did you say property?
Yeah.
No, but it's bodily autonomy that we're talking about.
Yes, I know, and I cited three specific like things I think general civil liberties come from, which is your right to life, your right to like your body, and to not having like your body used against your will, and private property. I think people's right to life generally supersedes those other two things for the most part.
So
So what about the woman's right to life? Because literally, when
Yeah,
women give birth,
if the
that's like
woman, I
literally.
think the
I
vast
didn't even
majority of
finish what I was
conservatives,
saying.
the vast majority of conservatives would agree
Yeah,
that if a
I didn't
woman's
even
life
finish
is in
what I was
danger
saying. You don't
from
even know what I'm
pregnancy.
about to say.
yo, just let him.
Okay. Oh, my bad.
What about the woman's right to life when literally giving birth is the closest that they are to actually losing their lives? Not only talking about the mental and physical changes that they go through, but literally they are closer to losing their lives than any other point, except, real life situations,
Look,
maybe going to a school in America. All
I,
right.
I, I am
Anyway,
I am not particularly fond of having the abortion debate, but I think at least we can understand that most people that argue like from the pro-life position are not arguing from this position that they want women to have less rights. They're arguing that because they believe that like fetuses have some innate human dignity and should have their rights preserved. So even if you disagree with that, at least you can understand the position is not we just ghoulishly want to take people's rights just because we want to take people's rights.
Well,
Like that is such an absurd strawman of what people believe.
well, I mean
There's no reason to make that point.
that is the position on trans people. Like, I get that you want to.
Okay.
I
No,
get
it-
that you
it-
want to defend the fact that they want to take a woman's right to make her own healthcare decisions away by saying, well, there's an argument that that a fetus
No,
is more
this-
important than a woman. I get that. There is
It's
no
not that the
argument.
fetus is more important. It's that they have equal moral rights.
Also-
This is so disingenuous. It's just like
Also,
conservatives say, well,
conservatives
Democrats just want to
don't really
unalive
believe that.
babies.
Conserv-
It's silly. No one wants that. Like
conservatives don't
it's
really
disingenuous
believe
to
that.
argue that way.
Conservatives don't really believe that. They just they've only started doing that since the Great Replacement theory started, and they started getting the church to push the idea that they should be anti-abortion.
No, the Catholic
Like-
Church has been against like abortion since like
Yeah, if you take a
Only
look
the
at
Catholic
the-
Church.
the-
The majority of churches in the United States are not Catholic churches, and
I
none of them
understand,
cared about
but-
abortion until Republicans realized they needed more voters.
Yeah, obviously there was a shift in like Democrat and like this, like Billy Graham, for example, was pro-choice. I understand it.
Yeah, and you know what the shift
pro-
was? The shift was that Republicans realized they couldn't run on racism anymore, but they still really wanted those Southern racist votes. So what they did was they pushed out this new rhetoric that abortion is murder. This happened over the course of 1978 to
I'm beating him
1980.
Yeah,
awfully
and
badly.
the main trigger point for that was Roe v. Wade. Now Republicans magically shifting
You're-
their their beliefs. Like, I mean, that is true to some extent, but the main trick point for that was Roe v. Wade
You're wrong.
taking place. No, I'm very much right. The main trick point for that shift was Roe v. Wade. Objectively, is.
I understand what you're saying, but you're just wrong. Like we could go from Roe v. Wade was in the 70s, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't until 1978 when what's his face? Weyrich? I think it was Paul Weyrich. He was a conservative strategist that he basically tackled a few districts using this rhetoric, and it led to Republicans picking up seats they didn't expect. So then the National Republican Party were like, all right, say less. Let's just instead of running on racism like Barry Goldwater did, because that will turn away too many people, we'll overtly pick up all the Southern racists by sneaking into their churches and saying abortion is murder. That's what happened.
Okay, I'm sure. I mean, maybe that's true to some extent, but the idea that there was no belief, even among like sincere Christians or people, there was no sincere belief that abortion is wrong, is insane. Like it's just a disingenuous. It's like
Okay, all right. So
no. Let me be very clear. It's like when conservatives frame, for example, abortion as being Democrats ghoulishly wanting babies to be killed, or as eugenics. Like, for example, I hear conservatives say people that are Democrats are actively secretly want to kill black babies because of Margaret Sanger. It's an insane position. Of course, it's true that Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist, but no person that's supporting abortion today is supporting abortion because they want to kill black babies. It's crazy. Like, nobody actually believes that, vote or support those beliefs. You can at least have good faith in these discussions, and that's all I'm asking for. Nobody that supports abortion or is against abortion, for the most part, is doing that because they want to hurt people, because they want to take people's rights, or because they want to kill people. Like, I don't understand why there's such a lack of genuine or like intellectual equity. It's like you refuse to engage in that.
I'm just gonna say this: whether or not that is the case, whether or not there is intentional ghoulishness or accidental ghoulishness, it's still ghoulish and it's still wrong. That's the whole point. I don't care if you want to tell me that, okay, well, in 1978, yes, the entire Republican Party knew or didn't really give a shit about abortion, but used it to con voters into voting for what would be the biggest shift of wealth from the bottom 90% to the top 1% in history, right? The Republican Party in 1978 used that, but the Republican Party now, they're just, they're all the children of the people that were influenced by that. So they're not pro-life because of that. They're pro-life because of, who gives a fuck? Who cares? They're still wrong, right?
By that logic, I could say Planned Parenthood started off as eugenics, as literally a vehicle for white supremacy, for the KKK. Margaret Sanger literally attended KKK rallies.
Does Planned Parenthood
the genealogy of these beliefs came from? You engage with what someone's actual position is, not the genealogy of their beliefs. You can make the exact argument for abortionists. It's just going around intellectual empathy.
It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. You know why?
How is it not the same?
I'll tell you why it's not the same. And you're comparing apples to oranges here, because in Planned Parenthood, that is no longer the case. Whereas for the Republican Party, it is still the case that women are losing their lives and their bodily autonomy because of this. The negative outcome is still happening in regards to abortion bans, but the negative outcome of the original point of Planned Parenthood is not still happening.
What makes you believe that? That is the outcome of the original point of Planned Parenthood.
Do you think Planned Parenthood is currently engaging in eugenics?
I don't think their active goal is that, but I think the policy that Margaret Sanger outlined was for people to have, specifically to target like minority populations.
How are they targeting them?
Even if unintentional, it is the case that minority groups are disproportionately they do get abortions. That is objectively the case. So I mean, you can make a case for that. I don't think it's a good case or a specifically moral or a good thing to argue for. But you could make that case. I think it's unfair and I think it's unjust. But it's the same type of argument that you're winning. You can't say that because the genealogy of beliefs was originated from some bigoted position. That means everyone that supports that belief right now must like support those bigoted positions as well.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that whenever a conservative, unless they're Catholic, says that they don't believe in abortion because of their religion, it's all based on a lie invented in 1978. That's what I'm saying to you.
What? I don't even understand what that means. So you believe that like people's beliefs about abortion again, you're just winning the exact same thing. Like, I don't understand what you're believing. The original goal of abortionists in the in the 1920s was not to actually enfranchise women's rights either. It was specifically targeted at eugenics. So you could argue the exact same thing that abortionists today, their beliefs are based on a lie that was told to them when their organization's original goal was to target minority population and to reduce their populations. So I mean, you can just engage with what someone actually believes. Don't go on this genealogy of where their belief came from. Have intellectual empathy and engage with someone's beliefs. That's all I'm asking for. I won't do that to you. I think it would be unreasonable to make the
I'm
points that I'm
beating
making.
him awfully
Would be
badly.
unfair.
Thank you, Carla. Okay. This is what I'm going to say.
Mhm.
If you are basing your belief on your religion,
Mhm.
but there is no religious basis for that belief, and that belief is leading to legislation that is infringing on people's human rights, then I kind of don't care about your belief. Why am I going to engage with your belief? It's not actually rooted in your religion, and even if it was, we have a separation of church and state anyway.
Do you think the way people view their religion changes over time? Do you think that's possible? Do you think that people can have different religious beliefs than what they had in the 1970s? I mean, the evangelical church position on a lot of issues has changed since 1970s. That doesn't mean that it's somehow invalid to hold those positions because it changed.
It is
Like,
invalid to use those
it
positions.
doesn't
It is invalid to use those positions
Hey,
to implement
hey, Dan.
policy. Yeah.
I'm gonna drop down. You mind if I come back? How long you gonna be on?
Maybe another like hour and a half.
Can I come back and hang for a little while?
Of course.
All right.
Thank you, Satya.
Yeah, I understand why you've come to that conclusion. I'm not trying to argue that it's that there's no validity to what you're saying, but all I'm asking is that when we have discussion like this, you should engage in as much intellectual empathy as possible. You should try and see that someone might have beliefs, might come to these conclusions, not because of a bigoted view, but because they
I know
genuinely
that,
believe. That's
but
the
that doesn't mean
case.
that they're not wrong. That the caption doesn't say that conservatives believe things for okay reasons. It says that they're wrong. So like,
Okay.
whatever. I'm not criticizing their specific. I'm not criticizing their specific moral beliefs because a lot of people have different reasons. But I am pointing out that they don't have a religious basis for it, even though they claim to.
Well,
But regardless, they're wrong, right?
The way people interpret the Bible changes over time. Catholics have argued that there's a religious basis for the past 2,000
Which
years.
is one of
dude.
the
I don't
best
understand
reasons
what
that
the
we
point-
shouldn't use our religion when we're crafting policy.
Dude, almost all like ideological and moral frameworks also shift as well. So I understand. A religious framework shift, any ideological framework shifts as well. So I mean, I generally do agree in separation of church and state, but that's not a good argument to make for that. And people's values, their religious values, will inevitably impact the way that they look and support legislation. That's impossible. It's impossible to say that someone has to separate their religious mind from their like congressional or their legislative mind. It's not a feasible thing to do. What you can do is that
What
the
are you
church
talking?
can
Yes, it
directly-
is. Are you kidding me? It's extremely feasible.
How is it possible? How is it possible to do that?
How is it? So
Yeah.
when you are passing legislation, what you should be doing is thinking about what's best for your constituents.
Come on, man.
And what's moral too? You think legislators shouldn't think about what's moral? You don't what? How do you define what's best for your constituents? How do you define that without an ideological or moral framework for that? How does that even work? It's silly. It's impossible. It's
So-
not something you can feasibly do.
So-
What the state should not be collaborating with the church, obviously, but it's impossible to ask for legislators to entirely have no religious thoughts whatsoever when they pass. But it's infeasible. Nobody operates that way. Human beings are not built like that. I genuinely don't think you realize how insane what you're asking for is. It's not a possible thing to do.
All right. Are you saying that everyone's morals are based on their religion?
No, religious people's morals are for the most part based on the way
Oh,
they
okay.
use
All right. So in that case, we shouldn't even have religious people in office. If you're saying that it's impossible for a religious person to separate themselves from their own religious dogma when making laws, then you actually have a further left position than me. I just think we should separate church and state. You think that even religious people shouldn't be allowed in office. Copy. All right.
No, because that's not what the First Amendment like says, or what it specifically says that the government cannot make laws that establish religion or establish religious principles or values. You can support a secular position, like for example, you can be you can come to the conclusion that unaliving people is wrong, like it's unjust, and have that from a religious persuasion. You can do that perfectly fine. You can come to a large number of beliefs that are purely secular in implementation from a religious persuasion. That's my belief. You shouldn't implement religious laws that have absolutely no secular reference point. But if you have a religious persuasion that leads you to making a secular law, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I don't think anyone should have an issue with that. Because it's impossible to entirely separate your religious views from your moral perspective. It is impossible. It's not a feasible thing to do. I think
Okay.
this is a mass misunderstanding of the First
I
Amendment.
mean, if what you're saying is true, then I don't think we should have religious people in office,
Why?
because I don't think that people should be making laws based on morals of their religion. And what you're claiming, I don't personally feel this. I think that someone can separate themselves from their religious beliefs, but you're claiming that they can't. So, like, your position sounds like
So why should it? Okay, you're saying that people shouldn't be able to make laws based on their religious, like, moral perspective. Why are secular moral perspectives superior? There's a variety of secular moral perspectives you can have that are shifting, that can change, and can be altered all the time.
well, I mean, we're starting to get into philosophy here, and I really hate debating Phil Bros, but
I'm not,
I'm not necessarily saying that a secular moral position is better. I think it is, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that based on our founding document, based on our laws, religion shouldn't be influencing the way we govern. Now,
Well,
if
it
you want
depends
to, if you
what-
want my, if you want to start to get into philosophy, the reason a secular morality would be better is because usually secular morality is based on treat others how you would want to be treated, and whereas
I'm
religion,
beating him awfully badly.
thank you, Malbec. Well, whereas religion, at least as it is now, seems to be more like treat others how our religion says they should be treated.
You mean like vertical and horizontal morality? Is that the point you're making?
I'm not a Phil bro, so I'm not familiar with that
No,
terminology.
okay. This is probably my butcher interpretation, but vertical morality is more of where you look at the cost and effects of where like your actions will affect him, how this action will affect you. Like it's kind of it's kind of what you described, like you do to me what I'll do to you, and we, live peaceably and we get along like that. Like horizontal morality is more of like a hierarchy of morals that we get, like moral laws, or like kind of like deontology. We get moral laws. We have like a set of values that have to be applied across like interactions. So that's kind of the difference I think you're pointing out.
I just don't know. I don't know how else to make it simpler. Like,
No,
I don't want someone to take my bodily autonomy, so I wouldn't want to do that to someone else.
Oh, here's the issue I'm trying to play out. When you say that someone that has religious values that they can't separate from their moral view of things, that's wrong, that they shouldn't be able to do that. All I'm pointing out to you is you can have secular laws that are derived from religious views of how the world is. There's nothing wrong with that. That can happen all the time. And I don't see what in the First Amendment of the Constitution says that cannot take place. You're just saying that. There was no other First Amendment that says someone cannot be influenced by religion. It's obviously false. Even the founding documents of this country contain religious language. So I understand, like, the Declaration of Independence literally references God on multiple occasions, references a creator. The idea that it's somehow impossible for those two to coexist is insane, because there are quotes in the founding fathers that literally would contradict what you're saying right now. The question people like John Adams and George Washington said that it's impossible to have a possible American government to exist without having a Christian nation. There are quotes like that.
Can you tell me where God is in the Constitution?
In the Constitution, I said Declaration of Independence, not the Constitution.
Oh, the Declaration of Independence is not our founding document. You know that, right?
I said it is one of our founding documents. What, you disagree with that?
I mean, I suppose if we're gonna be
Yeah.
semantic about it, but I'm talking about the Constitution, the one that establishes our country. Hey, Liv,
What's happening?
what's going on? You're welcome to join the conversation. The Dear John.
Is it
Oh.
Christian fascist?
What were you saying? Kind of. I had to do something real quick.
Do I have an echo?
It might be on my end. I'll mute.
Yeah. So just real quick, are you a Christian?
Am I a Christian? Yes, I am.
Yeah. What kind of Christian are you? Mike, check. Can you hear me?
What were you asking me?
Yeah. What kind of Christian are you? Are you Baptist, Methodist?
I'd say I used to be a Lutheran, but I'm probably considering being Orthodox. I'm like in the process of
Okay.
that.
Hey, so in Luke 1,
Hmm.
talks about when the angel came to Mary and let her know all the things God wanted to do. And then Mary responds to the angel, right? And she says, Lord, I am your servant, right? In that moment, God like prioritized Mary's consent. Now, let me ask you a question.
for your financial support.
Thank you, Whitney.
Let me ask you a question, Dan. Like, if you with your significant other, right,
Hmm.
and they sent you a
I'm
lustful
beating
text
him
like, "Hey,
awfully
baby,
badly.
boom, 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 whatever," right?
Hmm.
And you was like, "Baby, I'm yours." Would you have consented?
We play what you're. I'm a little bit lost with this. Just could you go over
Okay,
that?
I'm just asking, would you have consented?
Consent if my partner sent me a lustful message and I said,
Yeah,
"Baby,
and
I'm yours."
they was like, they want to do X, Y, and Z with you, and you was like, "Baby, I'm yours."
I
You
mean,
would have consented.
of course, that consent can be removed at any time.
Okay,
So
absolutely.
I'd say, in a sense,
Absolutely.
yes,
So
I
you would have
consented. Yeah.
consented. You would have consented.
Yeah, of
Right.
course.
And so my whole point in this, right,
Hmm.
is that as a Christian, if God himself prioritized the consent of Mary in the most perfect pregnancy, right, to ever see the earth, right? As
Yes.
Christians, this is what we believe.
Hmm.
Why don't you support um, a woman's ability to choose or a person's ability to choose?
The person ability you're referring to abortion, I presume, right?
Not just a person's ability to choose in general.
To choose in general, yeah, you have the ability
Yeah.
to choose as long as it doesn't infringe on people's like civil liberties.
Okay.
You know our position. Like I
Sure.
I can choose to get an ice cream.
Sure.
I can't choose to plant my face in another person's face. Like they're
Absolutely.
within like
And
human interactions. There,
so by that argument, you would be pro-life, yes?
am I pro life? I'd say I'm generally, yeah. I'd say I'd lean pro life, and most of the time.
Pro-life. Okay,
Yeah.
great. And so, like,
I'm not really particularly interested in having an abortion conversation. Like if
well,
we
it's
have
not.
that
It's not. It's
conversation,
a conversation about rights,
sure, okay.
right? And so, like, you talked about infringing. Do
Mhm.
you think that abortion is an infringement on the baby's rights?
Yes, a person losing your life is an infringement on your life.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. But is it not true that the baby infringes on the mother's rights if she revokes consent to her body? Because we just established consent, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, great. So why should the baby
Mhm.
have control of a woman's body?
Why should it have control?
Yeah.
I don't view that as control. I view that as the natural process of pregnancy. It doesn't
Hold on,
control.
wait. Listen, do we agree? And I thought we did. It was an entailment of what we talked about earlier.
Mhm.
That the baby has rights, right to life, right to liberty, all
Yes.
of it, all of the human rights. Okay,
Mhm.
you would agree that the mother has the same rights.
Yes.
Those rights are equal.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't think your. I think your right to life supersedes all those rights.
Okay, but they both have a right to life.
Yes. If the baby infringes on the mother's right to life, I think the mother has a right to everything.
Okay, all right, great. So the mother says revokes her consent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Nah, I don't want to do this." But
It's
then
not
you would
just revoking
agree.
her consent. She's implicitly unaliving.
Wait, 1 second. You said earlier that consent can be revoked at any time. You said it was voluntary. You said that in the beginning.
Yes.
See, my entire point here is, bro, like you seem to
Yeah,
be
there are no contradictions
contradicting.
there. Again,
You give rights and
there's
then
a
you don't
hierarchy.
give rights. And I guess that was the
Yeah,
part that was
there is a
frustrating me in this whole
hierarchy.
debate. Is that
There's a
you only
high. There's.
apply, I'm sorry, 1 second.
Mhm.
You only apply rights when it suits your argument.
No, I'm not. I've
Well,
explained my
listen, when
view.
we talk about
There's,
when we talked about consent, you said consent was voluntary. You
again,
said you said yourself it can be given and taken away at any time.
you're completely
You
ignoring the point
said,
I'm making. You're
I'm sorry,
totally
one
ignoring the
second.
point I'm
I'm
making.
sorry, 1 second.
Consent,
It's all right, man. Wait.
Just
consent is
let
involved.
just don't. Can we not talk over each other, please, Traps?
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
you're
Yeah.
you're not letting me
Go ahead,
respond.
bro.
Just
Go ahead, bro.
just give me what I said.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, the view I laid out of rights and of civil liberties is that there's kind of a hierarchy to it. I think people have a right to private property, but I don't think your right to private property supersedes or is equal to your right to live. Like it's insane to argue that. Or even your right to live isn't
Listen,
above
but your
your right
body,
to live.
but again, even if you look at Lockean principles, right?
Hmm.
John Locke himself, that your body is your property, right? It's like literally the only thing you
Exactly.
actually
I know.
own.
I don't think property would go
Okay,
above your right
all
to
right,
life.
great. So
Exactly.
if we're going off of that framework, which is the framework of the United States and the Constitution,
Hmm.
right? When I'm asking you about these things, consent. When I'm asking you about bodily autonomy and moral agency, that is the spirit of the law. That is how Thomas Aquinas aligned the intersectionality of morality and logic to both come together to create the laws that are the foundation of what this country is in that living document that's the Constitution.
Okay.
But
Let me.
you want to implement, hold on, but
Mhm.
you want to implement Judeo-Christian values that, look, brother, I'm a Christian, right?
I've
You
never
want to
suggested
implement
today a Christian
Judeo-Christian
value.
values that contradict logic. Like,
Look,
if we're going to go to those Judeo-Christian values, then if you, I bet you're wearing mixed linens right now, you should be taken outside and stoned.
my position on abortion is it is supported by my Christian values, but it is entirely. I would have the same position if I wasn't a Christian. I wouldn't change the position
Okay,
regardless of the
well,
same.
let me test your logic then. If what I'm saying is not true, you will be able to tell me the symmetry breaker here.
Okay.
Okay. If let's just go back to the significant other.
Hmm.
If you and your significant other were in the middle of doing the adult tango, right?
Hmm.
Right, and your significant other said, "Hey, stop."
Hmm.
Right? Would you stop or would you keep going?
Obviously, I would stop because Vince would be.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
You would
that's
stop because for
evident.
a couple of reasons. One, you're a good man.
Hmm.
Okay. The second reason you would stop, right, is because if you were to continue after they had revoked consent to their body, right, that would be a violation of their bodily autonomy, more agency. Now, this manifests in murder, it manifests in SA, it manifests in assault, right? Whenever someone doesn't give you a consent to touch them, if you violate that bodily that infringement, right? If you violate that infringement, well then, right, we hold you accountable by the law,
Hmm.
right? Okay, cool. So riddle me this.
Hmm.
You grant the rights, and this is what you said earlier, the same rights and the right to life to the fetus that you do the mother.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if a mother
I'm
tells the
beating
fetus
him
to
awfully
stop,
badly.
if the mother tells the fetus to stop, right? And in that moment the fetus keeps going, right?
Hmm.
Isn't that an infringement on the mother's bodily autonomy?
I'm beating him awfully badly.
There are multiple symmetry breakers here. The fetus is not a moral agent in the same way a, two people.
Well, hold on, wait. We can't say that.
They're
We
not the
can't say
same type
that
of agent, and
because
they can't communicate.
we've
And
already granted all of the moral and legal entitlements
no,
that the
because
mother has. You granted the fact that it was a moral agent. This is why I asked you the question in the beginning. You've already granted that. Now you would have to walk back your position,
no, you're again,
right, to the
you're
original
not
premise. Now look,
you're just
just
steamrolling.
saying.
You're not allowing me to respond and lay out my
And,
issue.
and but I'm gonna stop I'm gonna stop.
I let you lay out your scenario and I lay out
Go ahead.
allow me to fully explain mine. That's all I'm asking for. So the biggest issues here is the fetus cannot communicate with the mother. The mother cannot express to the fetus that I no longer want you to be here. Secondly, the mother is also causally responsible for, at least to some extent, for the fetus being there. That also plays a role in this consideration. And the consent, as I've laid out in your bodily autonomy, does not override, in my view, a person's right to live. And you haven't demonstrated why I should believe that.
Okay.
I think the
You're
fetus.
not answering my question though.
Mhm.
What I'm asking you for is that if in the case of you and another person,
Mhm.
right, utilizing each other's bodies, if that person says no, stop using my body in that moment, you would stop,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
When the fetus and the mother, hold on, when the fetus and the mother, right, are engaged, right, and the mother says stop, you don't apply the same you don't apply the same rights to the mother in having the ability to tell the fetus to stop. And you also agree that if you were to keep going, that would be great.
The
Right.
fetus
So
doesn't choose.
so in one
Does not choose the
instance,
situation.
and this is the
The fetus does
contradiction.
not choose. Does not make any
I'm
choices.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Even and I would just point out the fact that you're not going to sit here and justify a man being drunk, saying that he can't be held accountable for raping a woman. He didn't have the conscience to do it. He didn't have control of his body. Nonetheless, he violated their bodily autonomy and moral agency. To me, I would argue that's great. Now you can say
I
that
would agree
that's
with that.
not. Okay, great.
I
So
don't.
you will concede to that point as well. What I'm trying to figure out is, on one instance, you grant bodily autonomy and more agency to a woman, and then in the other that you don't. So what gives the fetus the extra positive right to control a woman's body?
I think a mother has like moral obligation. And okay, you've tested my
Okay,
logic.
great. You can't say
I
that. I don't care about a moral
all
obligation
allow no,
because
if you go
obligations come with
any
consent.
any sane person would, because you've tested my logic a lot of times. Let me test your view. Just give me a
Okay.
second to test your view. Does your view about this apply? Let's say we have a scenario where a mother was giving birth to a child, to a newborn infant, and has no ability to provide food for them, no like formula or anything of that nature. She's like in a cabin in the woods, for instance. Let's give that scenario. And her only way, the only way for this child to survive is through breastfeeding. There's literally no way. I think it is morally just for a mother that can and is able to breastfeed. Like, because there's a situation where mothers can't do it. That is a very obvious situation that is different and distinct. When a mother can breastfeed, but just refuses to, because they're not obligated. They can choose to consent to having an infant.
What grounds that obligation?
No, like why do you think?
No, I'm asking you what grounds that obligation, what
No,
created that obligation.
I'm asking this now.
No, I'm asking you, but you have to. But again, this is your reductio. What grounds that obligation? Who said that obligation had to be created? When did it start?
I allow me to finish my scenario, please. I
Okay.
don't understand what you're putting in. But do you think the mother is justified in refusing to give the newborn infant breast milk?
But you're arguing that there's a moral obligation. When did that moral obligation start?
I will answer that when you give.
I would need to know that in order to answer your question.
I think the moral obligation comes from the mother being causally responsible for the infant being.
She's not causally responsible.
How is she not?
She can't be.
How is she not?
You can't because you can't cause a biological process.
Yes, you literally through the initiation of intercourse. Yes, you are causally responsible.
Listen, one consenting to consent doesn't mean you consent to the obligation of pregnancy.
Being causally responsible does not infer consent.
But you can't control that. It's like somebody. It's like.
I don't think you understand what causal responsibility means.
Okay, I don't think you like you're shifting the causal obligation now, right? And listen, this is why this argument makes no sense.
You don't know
I
what
can
causal
consent to
responsibility is you're saying.
I do understand. Listen, what
it
I'm
has
arguing
nothing to do with consent. It doesn't refer to that.
Excuse
I'm
me,
not saying
Liz.
it.
Mind if I step in?
Please do. No, you
Hi,
don't.
weirdo on the panel. For if you don't know me, I'm Falcon Reeds. I am also a student midwife and certified lactation counselor. And I want to be very, very clear. The scenario that you brought up is absolutely insane because you don't know the physiological or mental health conditions that could cause a woman to be unable to breastfeed.
And I said that multiple times, but scenario literally hinged upon her being able to. Of course,
again, but there is no woman that I have ever met, unless she's suffering from a mental health crisis or there is a physiological reason why she can't, that would look at their baby and just let them starve without
exactly. I agree.
Trying to
I understand what your point is. You don't know what a hypothetical is. It's a hypothetical. It's a test, like your moral.
But there's no moral testing when we're talking about the rights and lives of actual human beings. And I hate this bullshit.
Yes, any moral view deserves to be tested.
Shut up.
Yes, all moral views should be tested.
Was I still talking? Was I the woman on this panel still talking when you interrupted me?
But let her talk. Or let them talk. I'm sorry.
So I want to be very, very clear. We're not talking about hypotheticals here. We're talking about people's lives. We're talking about debates and policies that influence votes and politicians that change the outcomes of people's lives. So none of this is hypothetical for me, right? I am studying to be a midwife. I work in clinics where I have to meet and see women that have to make these really hard decisions on a daily basis. There's no, the moral quandary of this is honestly none of your business, because you cannot carry a child unless you are trans, and I am just unaware of that.
Well, again, the idea that someone should have no input on moral issues just because they cannot experience those moral issues.
Again, you can have input on moral issues, when it comes to your internal family structures, right? You can have these moral conversations with women that you choose to date or engage in intercourse with. You can sit down with a woman before you choose to engage with intercourse with her and say, these are my morals, these are my values, and I don't think I would like to have intercourse with you if you do not share my values. But when we're talking about preaching morals on public platforms that influence public opinion and shape policy and elections, that's not something that you can just throw out there and force your morals and or your religion on anyone else. We are already in a maternal mortality crisis. We are already, before all of this crap started, in a maternal mortality crisis. We know, based on data from the World Health Organization, that, and let me be clear about this statistic, college-educated Black women are 3 times more likely, we're talking about wealthy professional class women, 3 times more likely to unalive during childbirth than their college-educated peers. When we start looking at the data for Indigenous women, when we start looking at the data for Black women experiencing poverty, it's 4 times in the UK, not in the US. And it's 4 times when you start accounting for poverty and other figures. But when we start accounting for those issues, I mean, you've got to, and look at this administration where now Black women are losing their jobs at unprecedented rates. And now they're being put in economic situations where they could not afford to raise a child. So they have the increased likelihood of having to make hard decisions like this. You don't get to sit here and preach from on high about stuff that will never affect you, but is actively taking the lives of real women. There was a real woman this year who was used as an incubator for a fetus against her and her family's wishes. And the crazy part is, that's not the first time that that's ever happened to a Black woman in this country. And I need you to understand how horrific that is. Also, the bullshit you were spewing earlier about abortion being invented in the 1920s is bullshit.
I never said it was
The
invented.
modern process that, no, you're not over
I
talking.
think you're just lying about what I said. I'm gonna interrupt you if you lie about what I said, blatantly lie. Like that's just insane to do. I never said that. Abortion
Hey,
has existed for
Neil,
thousands
can
of
you
years.
mute him? The modern process that we have for abortion may have started in the 1920s, but the idea of abortion and the different ways that abortion has been practiced are quite literally as old as human history. We have texts of herbs being used as abortifacients going all the way back to Mycenaean and ancient African empires. And we also know that the cesarean section was also practiced in pre-colonial Africa before the British invasion. So we have biblical proof of that. We have anthropological evidence. We have proof on the Italian peninsula and the Greek Isles of a heart-shaped plant being used, that's now extinct, being used as birth control. So don't say all of this stuff just magically appeared in the 1920s. I need you to be so for real that like you can have moral opinions about this stuff within the scope of your own life, but you don't get to dictate policy when that policy could take the life of someone else. And I would argue that the lives of these mothers are so much more important than your moral opinions.
All public policy,
And that just goes to my point.
All
Right?
no,
And this goes. One second.
allow me to
One
respond,
second.
please. It is only fair that I get to respond. It is only fair, please.
No, it's not
But
fair that you get a response. Let Liv talk.
Okay.
Thank you. And so, but this goes back to the original argument because this truly
No,
wasn't
I'm not.
an abortion debate. This truly wasn't an abortion debate. It was the idea that the Judeo-Christian values, and I say this as a Christian myself, like have any place within our laws, within the Constitution. right? They don't, right? Because my Judeo-Christian values, my values do not reflect the lives of other people within this country. You cannot sit here and talk about prayer in church on Sunday and ignore the slaughter of women on Monday, right? These things cannot exist in a society that is supposed to be geared for the mitigation of harm of its citizenship. So I don't understand how, in one case, you say that you value bodily autonomy and more agency, but in another, because it makes you feel icky of something happening to somebody else in their own life, you don't like to see it. That you think you
Okay.
can dictate what happens to their lives with laws, with legislation. It's
And
just
Traps,
it's a tyrannical society.
Can I please be
Traps,
allowed to
no,
respond?
before you
Because
go
you
off.
have
Traps,
steamrolled for
before
almost
you go
15
off.
minutes.
Yes, I'm steamrolling you because this is
Okay.
bullshit. Before you go off on whatever tangent you're about to go off on, I want you to know that if you have never rolled a cuddle cot into parents' rooms so that they can hold their unalived infant after birth, especially if they had to carry a pregnancy to term and they knew that that pregnancy was not viable, so they've been carrying their unalived baby in their womb for months. If you've never rolled those cuddle cots into those rooms, if you have never held a dad's hand after he loses his wife in a labor and delivery room, or you are not someone with a uterus yourself for whom these decisions are relevant, nothing you say to me will change my opinion. Because I promise you, we could get probably dozens of healthcare workers on this panel that have had to experience these heartbreaking things that would tell you that what you are saying is absolute bullshit and that abortion care is life-saving care.
All right. Again, if you listen, it's fine if you're not going to be changed by my words, and that's totally fine.
Sorry, Dan. You know I don't have patience for this.
No.
Look, clinicals start
No,
tomorrow morning.
I'm just glad
actually.
we had a woman up to speak on this anyway. So
Yeah.
that's
I'm
idea.
literally going in for clinicals tomorrow morning. My first day of clinicals this semester.
All public policy impacts people's lives in very real and tangible ways. It can impact you in ways that you will never have to experience. America's foreign policy impacts the lives of millions of people on a massive scale. And I don't experience that. That doesn't mean that it impacts me. And I can still call it out for being wrong. In the 1800s, America had a practice of slavery. Many white people could never have been affected by that. They didn't have anything to do with that.
Liv,
To
you
say
want to
that they
take
have
that
somehow
one?
no ability to speak on that, that somehow is that they should not give any input or give any moral or explain their positions on that is insane. Like, all public policy affects people's lives in very real and tangible ways. It's not just abortion. So I find this to just be an attempt to just like a conversation ender, to try and just end conversations because of someone's gender. It's obviously absurd. You can speak on issues even if they don't directly impact you.
You can speak
Like,
on issues in your personal life with the people that you care about, but you're not going to get
why
up
is it
and
limited
preach
to that?
policy about things that do not affect you. Liv is a history teacher, so I'm not going to speak over him when it comes to the effect of slave policies in the United States.
Most public policies do not directly affect you, and you can still have opinions about public policy. It's insane to argue otherwise.
And you can keep those opinions
Can I
to
ask a
No,
question
yourself.
real
you
quick?
vote on those
They
opinions
do
and you can
not
express
affect
opinions. We
your
have freedom of
body.
speech, freedom of expression in this country, and that impacts everybody's lives. That's how a country that has public policy operates, when people
Hey,
can vote
Falcon.
and make decisions on that as a whole, as a
Yes,
collective.
Falcon.
One moment, my
Falcon.
kid got out of bed. I'll be right
You
back.
are way okay. Actually, Dan, you may be able to answer this too. Is gestational slavery, forced birth, a human rights violation and a crime against humanity, as identified by the UN?
yes.
Sure,
I
I'm
believe
pretty
it's
sure the
the
UN does
okay.
categorize it as that.
Okay,
Sure.
forced birth. Okay, great. So when you force a woman to give birth, it's a war crime. Okay, and so what I'm trying to figure out, right, is that as the state takes control of a woman's body, for example, you're okay with this level of authoritarianism because you codify it by this idea of some Judeo-Christian value, right?
I never invoked any
To me,
Judeo-Christian
to
value. You don't
me,
need to argue for that.
that seems to be, to me, that seems to be um, a little, what do I say? How do I say it? Contradictory. That's the word I've been using. It's contradictory. Well, because if you understand the impact of chattel slavery and the
Hmm.
taking over of Black people's body and our bodily autonomy and moral agency, I don't understand why you'd be okay with the state taking control of a woman's body and her bodily autonomy and
Well, I
moral
mean,
agency,
even even
even with it, even
even
as
even
today
even
it's seen as
even
a war
even
crime.
even outside of America, even within the EU, most countries still have like laws about abortion that restrict how many like the trimesters you can have an abortion at.
Because
Like
most
you
countries
still
are run by
even
men.
Don't
even
pull that. I have lived in the UK.
Mhm.
I have studied in the UK, and I actually had an abortion in the United Kingdom.
I know
The
I've
laws
been to
are
the UK
very
as well. I'm
similar
familiar with
to
how
the
the laws are.
EU. You cannot have an elective, hear me, you cannot have an elective abortion in the United Kingdom after 26 weeks. However, and there's actually advocates trying to change this law in the UK to one doctor, not two. If two doctors in the United Kingdom, and this law is similar in the EU, that sign off and say that an abortion is medically necessary after 26 weeks, you can have an abortion at any time. So yes, there are laws regulating elective abortion in the UK. They are absolutely nothing like the heartbeat bans that we
I'm
have
against those
here
laws.
in the
If
US.
I'm being very, I'm against those laws. I don't think there should be a limitation on medically necessary abortions. I don't think there should be.
Then why are you up here arguing with
Well,
first
because
off,
this
why
is
are you up here arguing with another man about what you think women can do with their bodies, a man that you don't know in real life with 535 people watching, where you could be shaping opinions that influence the way that somebody votes?
Because everything in public policy is that way. Everything in public policy directly impacts people's lives. By this logic, you should never talk about anything in public policy that doesn't directly
But
affect
no,
you.
no,
It's
that's
silly.
not.
This is
That's
such a
not. No, that's
conversation.
not the argument.
It's a
That's
disingenuous
not
way
the
to just end
argument that's being
conversation
made,
you don't
though.
like.
But that's just disingenuous on your part. The reason we got down that rabbit hole is
Mhm.
because you refuse to concede to the contradiction.
There is
On
no
one
contradiction in my
hand,
opinion. I gave you
there
a
isn't. There
hierarchy
is a.
of
Listen,
rights,
you're
and
doing the thing again. You're
uh,
doing the thing again
okay.
where you're interrupting. Don't do that. Don't do that, right? And so Falcon, I don't know how much of you heard, but essentially we went down this rabbit hole because he believed that Judeo-Christian values and the Constitution can coexist, and that we can live under Christian law and the
That's
law
not
of the
what I said.
Constitution,
Again, why do you have to
right?
lie about my
I'm sorry.
position?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're
I'm
just lying.
summarizing.
It's
If,
like you just
and
continually
so
lie
and
about the
so I'm
things I
trying to
say.
figure out. Well, so again, this conversation started off by me asking him about his Christian beliefs, right? And how it's
That's another
contradictions
amount of I
contradictions
never said we
within the
should live under Christian
within the
law. Like,
Playing
Constitution.
why are
outside
you
his
so desperate
comfort
to storm
zone
at what I'm
became a
saying?
point of pride
It's
for
insane.
Redford after receiving an honorary Oscar for
Hold on.
lifetime
I don't know what's playing
achievement
right now.
in 2002.
It's just a great.
You don't need to lie about what I'm saying, Liv.
Yeah, yeah,
I've done my best
no.
to
What I'm
engage
saying is, no. You're well,
with
no.
your
What
words as
I'm going to be very clear here. My
okay.
argument here, right, is the contradiction of the human rights violation laid out with this idea of right wing conservatism. But ultimately, we never even got to that point because you were being disingenuous from the start.
You literally just lied about what I said. You said I said America can have Christian
No,
law and we can coexist in that. When did I say
wait a
that?
minute. If you
Why are you
well,
lying?
listen,
Genuinely, this is insane.
it's not a lie. When you
Okay,
came up and
so
you
I
said
want to
that you
be
back abortion,
You're
when you said you
basically
back
framing me as a
abortion by your
Christian
Christian
nationalist or
beliefs,
something. I want the nation to have like Christian law. Like
Can I?
when the fuck
excuse
did I say
me.
this? This is insane.
Excuse me. I want to be very clear that when I come up here to interrupt these debates or these conversations, when Dan allows me up, because again, I'm not some big TikToker. I'm not a debater. I don't do this full time or as a hobby. I specifically come up during these conversations as a healthcare worker and as a woman, so that I can humanize the people that are going through these situations, so that I can offer a perspective that centers the empathy around women that have to, women and people who give birth that have to make decisions like this, because it's never an easy place to be. If you are carrying a wanted pregnancy and you have to get an abortion, if it's medically necessary, it is
Genuinely, no.
devastating. But it is so incredibly devastating, especially for women who have been trying for years and years to get pregnant. If you are in a financial situation where you cannot afford not even just to have a child, but to go through the process of being pregnant and giving birth, like it is so prohibitively expensive to be pregnant, and that drives women into poverty. How are you ever going to buy a house if you're in so much medical debt, and provide for a child if you're in so much medical debt that your credit is shot? Like, I come up here to interrupt these conversations so that the 500 and some odd people listening have a perspective that humanizes the women that are in these situations, and also brings light to the statistics and the reality of the situation. I completely understand that you're never going to give a shit about what I have to say, and that's fine. But like, as someone who wants to be a midwife, as someone who loves women and wants to serve women in a professional capacity, I can't just sit here and allow you to spew the bullshit that you're spewing in front of so many people.
Again, you just point out the bullshit I'm saying, because my position.
Really quick, I just want to expand on what Falcon was saying. This is why I really, really don't like debating philosophy bros, because
I'm not a philosophy bro. I haven't used any I haven't referred to any philosophical framework or anything like that. I don't know where this.
What are you? Wait, okay, now you're gaslighting us. You were talking about vertical and
That's what I'm
horizontal
saying.
morality,
that is not a philosophical term. That's something that you will see even in like,
oh my
like
god,
political
okay,
science.
all right. Well, this is why I don't like
That's a
debating
political science term, too.
weirdos, because
It's a political science. It's not a
the
moral
idea is
philosophy
that these
term.
policies affect real human lives, and that's why I'm appreciating Falcon bringing that up, because there are so many people that debate these things as like a sport, when in reality this is people's lives. And when we're talking about abortion laws, we're talking about the lives of women. So it's kid political science, yeah. So yeah, that's all I want to point out. I just wanted to.
And
Yeah, I
there
also
were
think
people in
that
the comments earlier that were like asking who I am on TikTok, and like, am I Santana, like someone like Santana that comes up and like does these debates? And the answer is no. I just really love women, and I really don't want to continue to see the women that I care for, the patients and the children that I care for, to be forced into life-threatening situations because people on the internet do not understand facts and do not understand their stories.
What facts are misspoken on that they
so.
do take issue
Yes,
with?
and so I can outline that, right? Because again, you were talking about the law, you were talking about the morality of the law, and so we went down what creates the law. And this is where I've mentioned Thomas Aquinas. We went through some Lockean principles about property rights, your body being your property, and the
Mm-hmm.
argument that I'm making isn't even about. It's about the contradiction that you have, as well as the pragmatics of the law, policies, and procedures being put into place by this administration that make no sense.
I don't
You have
support
an
most administration
administration.
policies.
You have an administration and an ideology. Specifically, the most harmful part of it isn't even the Trump administration, but it's the ideologies that fuel that administration, that do think in the way you do. But when you just think about the things that you were saying for 2 seconds, they're quite literally human rights violations.
What specifically is a human rights violation?
Forced birth.
Forced birth. Well, yeah, I agree that's a human
Okay,
rights violation.
and
Not
so
just-
a 6 month heartbeat ban, right?
I'm
A
against that.
6 month heartbeat bill, right, would be
I'm
an
against the general
example.
6 month heartbeat bill. I'm
And
against
so
that. I don't support it.
conservatism, right? But again, conservatism, and I don't know if you're Trump supporter, I didn't ask you that,
I'm
but the
not.
ideology that you have, the conservative ideology that you have is the reason I requested, because it's rooted in Judeo-Christian values. And you
It's not. You
cannot,
can be conservative and
it
not be
is,
Judeo-Christian.
but it is though. But
No,
it is
it's
though.
not. Conservatism as a whole, as a framework, is not
I,
rooted or predicated on
but the reason,
Judeo-Christian values. It's silly.
yes, and so conservative ideology is rooted in the Seven Mountains Mandate.
According to who? Where do you get that from?
Conservatives.
I
Also,
think you have such
it's in
a
Project
myopic understanding
2025.
of where conservatism came from as an ideology.
Yes,
Like,
and so conservatism, and when you just and
mhm.
listen, we can just put the human rights violations and crimes against humanity that the United States is committing against women all 50 states. We have the data and the numbers that show that the maternal and the infant mortality rate across this nation is increasing. You can't tell me that's what God would want in the Bible, more people to lose their lives, right? So that let's just move that to the
I'm
side.
against those laws. I
We
said
can
multiple.
look at
I do not
hunger. We
support
can
those
look at
laws. So
hunger. We
why
look at
are
the
you bringing it up?
conservative ideology and look at hunger. Right, this administration has burned almost $100 million in
No, I
food,
don't support this administration. I don't support
and
the
so
policies regarding
the
that. I
but
don't
this is the
understand why are you bringing up
conservative.
things I don't have.
But
I
this is the
Okay,
don't support.
conservative
just let
ideology.
him finish, bro.
No, he's
Yeah.
just this galloping a different topic.
No,
So
I'm
I
not.
can't
No,
even
I'm not,
engage. He's
bro.
listening to this
It's
gallop for 5
specifically
minutes.
this administration is just an example of the conservative ideology that contradicts how our society should function in the first place. Going back to the original conversation and argument that I made, right? Like I don't think you've been tracking this whole time, right? Because my argument is about the law and the contradictions of the conservative ideology in the law. Like you can't sit here and say and have a constitution that's built on the general welfare of the populace while simultaneously exacerbating a food crisis among children, right? Saying that it's up to the parents now and then deprive the parents of opportunities, access to resources. Dan mentioned that would have been 300,000 Black women that have lost their jobs.
Yeah, I know conservatives just when you
Like
want
you
people to
can't,
die.
but you
That's
can't,
all. That's
but
all. That's
again,
all
you can't,
conservatism. That's all conservatism is when you just want people to die for no reason. That's all conservatives believe, and it's
but
just
that's the,
I just like people dying. That's it. That's all conservative values are.
the end of
That's obviously all I
conservatism is
believe. I
fascism.
just like the idea of people dying. That's it.
Well, it's just
Like
fascism.
this sort of beliefs, this sort of
I came
engagement
up
in
and said you
beliefs
were a
is
Christo
it's so
fascist
silly.
earlier.
When I said
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I came up and told you were a fascist earlier.
What are my
And
beliefs?
this is the finality. Listen,
Well,
your belief is that,
no.
well, one
Please, with all
belief,
respect, you
yes.
just called me. You just called me a
One,
Christo
you
fascist.
believe in slavery.
Explain why I am that. Explain.
Yes.
Go into
Well,
detail why
because
I'm a
you
Christo
said
fascist.
you were a Lutheran Christian, you said you were pro-life, right?
Mhm.
And then we got into an argument about abortion, right?
Okay.
And so that morality, that moral compass is rooted in your Christian beliefs, yes?
No, I told you I would have the
Okay.
same position even if I wasn't a Christian.
Okay,
Without
great.
change.
All right, great.
I'm just
And
specific.
so either way, the finale of that is that you want to control what another person does with their body. That's slavery. In the case of women being pregnant, that's gestational slavery. That's forced birth. That's a human rights violation. So I don't understand like why you're not tracking this. These are your arguments, bro.
Again, even in country. Okay, so let me clarify your position very clear. Are you for elective abortions all 9 months?
Bro.
Are you for that?
Okay.
Because
Listen. Oh my
I
God.
couldn't do it
Thank
anymore.
you. Thank you.
I couldn't
Thank
do it
you.
anymore.
Just quickly, because somebody in the comments brought up that kids aren't living with hunger in the U.S. Meatball, that weirdo. According to a study done by Feeding America in 2023, there are 14 million children in the United States facing hunger. And this was in 2023, so I can only imagine with our current economic policies and defunding of social programs, how those numbers are going to change. And you can totally look it up. It's called Feeding America. It is a nonprofit, nonpartisan source. If you want to blame everything on George Soros, I don't know what to tell you.
I just got my check from him, actually. And so I actually need to go
If you
deposit
can
it.
tell me where to sign up, Liv, because like a clinical starts at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and school is not cheap.
Exactly. And I hope you get all of the sleep that you can in the 2 hours every 3 weeks that you allotted, I believe. That's when you do clinicals. That's what I heard, right? Dan, I'm gonna go off and spend some of this George Soros money. Thank you for having me. It was just bothering me the contradiction of the conservative ideology and like Christian values and him reconciling that. But he was not good faith at all.
No, I don't think so. Especially when the last thing he did right before he asked you the question, he said, that's what conservatives want. They just want to force people to blah. They're just evil. Like it's I don't know what fallacy it is. Straw man, maybe it's straw man. Like that. If that's not what you said, you were explaining the result of what he wants, and he was assigning that an intentionality. And that's
Exactly.
Yeah, it was being intentionally slippery with that rather than actually engaging with the things you were saying. And it was over and over and over and over again. So
Yeah. So you
But
get those kind of guys, man. I love coming over here. It's nice over here. You got marble floors. You had small sandwiches. Smells nice over here. It's great. Hey man, you have a wonderful night, man. I appreciate you for having me.
you as well. You're always welcome to come up. Especially, listen, if I got a Philbro on my hands, you can have all of them. I'm so good.
I got you.
All right, man. Have a great night.
Thank you for letting me come and whine and info dump about my special interest on your panel, as always. I really, I hate that. I know that like there are a couple creators that have stopped doing debates about it at all, and I know that you normally shut it down really fast. But there are so many people that watch these lives, and I can't help but be emotional about like the actual humans behind this stuff. So thank you for letting me up.
Of course. Anytime. Thank you so much, Falcon.
Thank you.
How did I find this guest and last gentleman usernames? So, oh, what are their usernames? Liv, I think, is Live to Be Great, and then Falcons. I don't know what the ad is. Like, her name is Falcon Reads, but I don't know what the ad is. Someone wants to drop the ads. You probably don't need the ad, honestly. If you just type in Falcon Reads, she should come up. And same with Liv. TikTok is doing something weird. Can't tap on their box to see their profile. Emmy, so I don't know if that's because of something I'm noticing as well. So my whole setup when bringing up guests changed. It's different than it was the last time I was live. And I can definitely see that affecting what's happening because it's like completely it's easier for me to mute but more difficult for me to kick. I don't know why they made that change. Like before it was the same like process to mute and as it was to kick, and now like muting is super easy and kicking is super hard, and I don't really know why. Angel and I got demoted. Wait, did y'all lose supermod status too? Also, for those that don't know, there was a big change with subs now on TikTok, where like subs are now super fans, and then like they took the word sub and put it towards something worse. Like I just don't. I don't know.
Smart people don't like me.
Thank you, Addy. I don't know what's going on with that. Sub change was nuts. Yeah, no, it really is. And so basically, now that subs are super fan, I can't change the price. Like it was that I set the price and I set it to what I thought was fair, which was $3.99. It's been like that for 13 months now. And now it's $9.99 and you can't change it. And I don't know why TikTok did that. And then as for the stickers, I guess we have to move them to Superfan because the stickers are still available for subs, but you don't have sub powers in a live. You only have sub powers on videos. It's really like convoluted. Also, friendly reminder that if you are a small creator and you go live and somebody wants to support your live and they use the app to purchase a Galaxy and send it to you, okay? But you get reported erroneously and your live ends before 5 minutes after getting the Galaxy, okay? So this is a very specific scenario, but it could potentially happen. So the person gifting bought the Galaxy with the app. The person receiving is a small creator, and they had a power outage or they got banned or whatever, and the live ended in 5 minutes. How that translates on the back end is the person that's gifting spent $15 or $16. The creator received $2. Yeah. Absolutely insane. It used to be where all gifts were the creator would get 50% of the gifts. And I mean, nothing's changed with the buying method, but like if you buy on the website, it's cheaper than if you buy through the app. Because I mean, I guess they save money through their because the Apple Store and Google Play Store are going to charge money. Honestly, can't believe people send gifts at all. Just hit the Cash App. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I'd always prefer Venmo or PayPal, but yeah, it's something I wanted to point out, especially for smaller creators, because basically, I'll try to speed run. Back in like January, February, TikTok changed the way gifts work. It used to be like the creator would get half and TikTok would get half, and now you have to hit benchmarks to get half. Ever since this change happened, I have not hit half. I've only ever been able to hit 49.5%, which I mean, 0.5% is not a lot. I'm just saying, like, I'm not a small creator. I'm not necessarily a big creator, but I'm not a small creator, and I can't even hit 50%. So what you need to do is you need to get 5 or more new unique followers every live, which is not easy for small creators. You need to go live 2 or more times a week, which is not easy for people that are doing this on the side. And sounds like them's wanting more taxes from us. I didn't know that the owners of TikTok were Democrats, but okay. And you also need to go live each day for over 25 minutes. And you also get penalized 20% if you get a violation. It's so a whole lot of bullshit. Anyway. From Badman owns this app now. Yeah, it's really whole situation with TikTok is looking weird. All Democrats have is failed policies, lies, and Trump hate. Yeah, oh yeah, a 19% approval rating. Zoso, can you be like specific at all about those failed policies? It's so interesting. Whenever Trump supporters see this, they can never talk about specifics. They're just Democrats bad, Republicans good. I'd love to hear about the failed policies, because I don't know if you've gone to the grocery store lately. It seems like Donald Trump didn't do the thing he promised, which was lower grocery prices on day one. Dan, you've got your category set to gaming instead of multi-guest. Yeah, I realized that too late. We were playing Super Mario Sunshine. Are you on YouTube? Yes, we're live on YouTube and Twitch right now. I feel like I'm losing my voice. I don't know if y'all can hear it. So I'm gonna do a last call. If you disagree with the prompt, request up now. Otherwise, I'm ending early and I'm drinking some tea. And do you ever play multiplayer games with your stream? Other than like Contexto and stuff like that, no. But we were talking about playing some Among Us with the Discord. That could be fun. Did you enjoy the Cash Patel hearing? I didn't watch it. I only saw clips. Stop crashing out, Dan. All right. Well, it seems like conservatives are too scared to defend any of their beliefs because they're unjustifiable. So, wait, you'd like be done for the night? Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I've been having a rough past few weeks. That's why I canceled the live yesterday.
Hey, friend. Hey, you okay? Tell the truth.
Define okay.
Um, let's
Like,
see.
I'll
Yeah.
be okay.
Okay. You need anything? You can always text.
I know, and I appreciate that. Thank you. much, Erica, for being. Y'all don't know this, but Erica is like a really good friend. Like, I'm
Cooking.
I'm so thankful that I got to meet this.
I'm so thankful that I got to meet you, and very, very grateful for the friendship that we have because it's friggin' awesome. It's friggin' awesome. Like I was trying to tell people, like Dan is a fucking sweetheart,
Behind
and
all the
if
crash
you want
outs.
behind all the crash, even the crash outs, like, but it's because you have empathy and you know how to display compassion and passion, and a lot of people don't. So it's and also you're a Cancer, so there's that. You know, true, true, true. But yeah, you can always text or call. It doesn't matter. As you know, I'm self-employed, so I'm always available pretty much. Always available.
That is it. I will keep that in mind.
Uh,
Because I never want to take somebody away from um either their live or is it might be your amazing son who I imagine is still doing a good job as social media manager.
yes, he's doing a great job as social media manager. I talked to him the other day, and he said the same thing that my wealthy investor said, and also the ball man said. So I was like, "Oh, you all are on the same page." Okay. So yeah. Do you know
Um,
who the ball man is?
Hector
No, the other one.
Santana.
Yeah.
Whoops. I did you see the CNN report about the One Piece flag?
Oh, I saw it in Nepal, but I didn't see their report.
Yeah, this is I am shocked. I reposted it. Let me pull it up real quick because I remember you asked, "Is this time for me to watch One Piece?" And I think, listen, all the best people minus Santana, all watch One Piece. So,
That's funny as hell.
um, let me see here.
All right, I'm gonna stop the Santana hate. Santana is one of my good friends. He's fucking awesome. So don't tell him I said that though.
I 100% agree, and you guys can tell him I said that. Okay. Totally okay with me. All right, create a passkey. Okay, yeah, here we go.
This skull flag has been raised here, here, and this skull flag has been raised here, here, and here. What is it, and why is it popping up at protests around the world? In Kathmandu last week, Nepali Gen Z led tens of thousands of protesters into the streets, furious over government corruption. In Indonesia, protests swelled after a 21-year-old was killed by police. Elsewhere, crowds took to the streets in the Philippines and France. So, what does the flag mean? Well, it comes from Japan's best-selling manga, One Piece. In the story, the flag is the Jolly Roger of the Straw Hat Pirates, who don't just hunt treasure, but also fight oppressive powers and demand freedom. For protesters, that message hits home.
Justru ini kan teguran ya untuk pemerintah. Agar pemerintah pada akhirnya benar-benar melihat gitu.
The protests around the world may have different origins, but the frustrations are the same. That's why young people have turned this skull flag into a global banner of defiance and freedom. This skull flag has been raised here.
So I can see a future. I know it sounds crazy. I can
Hold
see a
on.
future where Trump wants to ban this show / manga.
I can see it too. I'm gonna ask Bubba a question. Bubby, are you gonna let me watch One Piece with you? Like, can it be our thing, One Piece? Yeah. But you'll have to start from the beginning and we'll watch it together. I'll get you Crunchyroll or whatever it's called. Okay, Kay? Okay, cool. All right. I guess I'm gonna be watching One Piece.
Let's go. Can we get some W's in the chat? That's I swear. Like when you get a friend to watch One Piece, it's like it must be how Christians feel to convert somebody. It's like it's so like yes, we brought them to the light.
Now my son is just making up stuff about One Piece, and I don't know what's true or not. So I don't know what's happening. John, I'm pretty sure that was not in the show. Okay. So yeah, I guess I'll try to do. Oh, wait, isn't it like a gazillion episodes though? Like literally, like one
It's
million and 3,500.
it's like 1,200 or something.
Jesus
But you can
Christ.
so you can skip the fillers. There's some fillers that you can skip.
Hmm.
Also, there's a lot of the earlier arcs have like movies that you can watch if you really want to like fast forward to the end. You can watch a movie that'll cover a lot of ground. But
What's the thing called when you do it? Like when you do watch every. I want to be like fudge sickles. I can't think of the word. It's a word in nerdom that I can't think of. But I'm gonna watch every single episode.
super fan.
Nah, I guess so. I guess that's the word. I don't know. I want to be a One Piece gatekeeper. I don't gatekeep anything else. I'm gonna gatekeep One Piece. And they're like, you just started. It doesn't matter. All right. What do you know about only character I know is Luffy. And I think I say it wrong.
No, you got it right there. That was good.
Oh, it's Luffy? Okay, because Bubba just said it.
Hi,
Yeah.
Erica.
Hi, love. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
I am one of the biggest One Piece fans, and I'm so
Cool.
happy that you're going to start watching. I got my brother to start watching. He was saying, since we were kids, how Dragon Ball's better, and it's not. And I also got my two nephews, who are his sons, that he tried to convert to Dragon Ball fans to become One Piece fans over him. So,
Awesome.
I started watching One Piece like 2 years ago, and I did do the movie route at first until I caught up. You can just Google like the movies that help you get through One Piece faster. And there's also this thing coming out pretty soon that's called One Pace, where it like it speeds up the One Piece process, where
Hmm.
there's not as long of fights and them like walking through like cities and stuff like that. It'll be a lot easier to get through it with that. And also, there's a live action that helps people get into it a lot quicker for the first season.
Okay, okay. Guys, I'm trying to tell you, I'm gonna be like an origins person. I'm just gonna like that's what I'm calling it because I just made that up. I don't know if that's a thing or not. But I'm gonna watch every episode. Is it still
No,
on Netflix?
Um, I wouldn't do Netflix because it doesn't have every arc. There's some arcs
Okay.
that come and go on Netflix. I would get the Crunchyroll subscription.
Okay,
Um,
Crunchyroll.
yes, Crunchyroll for sure. And then I was gonna say something. I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm sorry. Hmm. Oh my God, my mind's blanking. I'm sorry.
No
I'm
worries.
like starstruck talking to Erica right now. Jesus.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yes, but it is one of the greatest animes that has ever been created.
Cool.
Um, yes, and get ready to cry because it will make you absolutely sob like a baby.
Oh, awesome. Fantastic. Can't
Hmm.
wait. Okay. So I
And
can I can
yeah,
do that.
yeah,
All right, so
absolutely.
Crunchyroll. Oh yeah, I
Yes,
get to pay for
Crunchyroll.
something else.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
love
if
that.
you want to DM me, I can give you my Crunchyroll information. That's fine too.
Nah, it's okay. I appreciate you though. Thank you so
No
much.
problem. That was
The
all. Just wanted to come
Crunchyroll
up
it
and
is.
say congratulations on joining the fandom.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All
All right,
right.
bye guys.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Bye, Mariah.
Bye.
Awesome. All right. Dan, you want to hear a dad joke?
Yes.
Yay! Oh my God, you said yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know any by like heart, except for like two. So I'm going to tell you my favorite one. And if you heard it before, pretend like you haven't, okay?
Okay.
Okay. What did Yoda say the first time he saw himself in 4K? HDMI. That's my favorite one.
I'm gonna use that on Mac later.
I know, right? She loves it. I think she's the one that shared it in the group chat, dude.
Oh, okay. It's not gonna work then.
Yeah, but try it anyway, see what happens.
I
But
will.
hey, always remember to take care of yourself, drink your water, kind of mind your business, and be awesome to Mac. All right. Love you, bud. Bye.
Thank you so much, Eric. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, y'all. We keep getting the errant triggered conservative in the chat. Like we had somebody earlier saying, "How does TikTok allow this horse shit?" And I don't know if he was talking about One Piece or the caption, but like if this triggered him so bad that he thinks the government should step in, that's kind of wild. But I sent him an invite to join. He didn't join. There was somebody else that said all Democrats should be voted out of office. I sent him an invite to join. He didn't join. So I'm going to give everybody a piece of advice. All right. I stopped. I mostly stopped. Okay. It's hard. It does get hard. I mostly stopped arguing with people in comment sections and like in text form because genuinely when you weigh out the pros and cons, like you look at the cons, like okay, they could be a bot, they could be astroturfed, they could be paid by Russia, and then they also could just be so they could be MAGA, but they're so far gone they're not going to believe you, right? All those cons versus the one pro of maybe they're a misguided American patriot. It's just not worth it. Plus, I don't know if y'all have the same experience, but like I could say whatever the fuck I want on TikTok. But the moment you start typing on TikTok, you randomly get a violation. Your account gets like a flag on it. It's really strange. TikTok specific, obviously, but anyway, I'm really tired and not just like physically, but like mentally. I think the news from the past few weeks in particular is has been really bad for my mental health. So I'm gonna call it for the night. Encourage people to ignore them. They're a bully that feed off attention. No violations for me, but I've realized it's not at all worth it. I've never met a MAGA patriot. They're all actively trying to destroy our country. Yeah, same. Then StubHub scamming me sent me over the edge. Yeah, we talked about that. I remember. Sorry, I needed a second. It was 2 days ago, I think, Friday. You're on the wrong side of history. Wait, Shandon, come here. Come here and tell me any time in history that the conservatives were right. Was it slavery? I'm going to invite. Having to talk to ignorant maggots for hours will cause mental fatigue. Is there a new episode of One Piece today? Yeah. Well, I actually don't even remember if they come out Saturday or Sunday anymore because I haven't watched it like right when it drops in a long time. I'm kind of behind on the anime because I started reading the manga, so like I'm less inclined to watch it immediately. I'll wait for a few. You realize slavery and the KKK are Democrats? No, they were Democrats because the Democrats were conservative. See my caption how it says conservatives? If you disagree with me, tell me why the current KKK endorsed Donald Trump. Tell me why it's always Republicans that are having their feelings hurt about trying to take down statues honoring slave owners. Yeah. I'll wait for you to ask Grok for a response to what I just said. And there it is. Just this. Joe, I'm going to send you an invite. Talk to me. Talk to me about how you don't know American history. Why do Southern conservatives fly the Confederate flag? Don't you know Necessary Trouble? They're actually secret Democrats. It's just like how Antifa is a terrorist organization and they staged January 6th, but also Donald Trump pardoned every single January 6er. So he pardoned terrorists? The Democratic Party is fighting so hard. I'm actually not even going to reply unless you come up, because I doubt the real person. Why don't they ever want to like come up and talk? They're just so angry. Democrats are evil. Katie, come tell me how I'm evil. Send a request. Just come up. Super easy. Use your words. Can't do it. You just gotta. Democrats are evil. Oh no, he wants to talk to me. Was it the Democrats that posted on the official White House page deportation ASMR and reveling in the sound of shackles? Was that Democrats? Like, that's like one of the most purely evil things I've seen our government do openly. Our government's done some shady shit behind closed doors openly. Like, the government's like, hey, we think human rights violations are funny. And conservatives are like, yeah, Democrats are evil. Like, are you guys fucking for real? Are you guys real people? Genuinely in your hearts? You think you're a real person? And buying alligator Alcatraz. Yeah, I mean, you guys were just a couple weeks ago cheering about feeding immigrants to alligators. Yeah, if you didn't come here legally, we get to feed you to an alligator. How dare you quote Charlie Kirk after he died? Like, come on. How are you not embarrassed by the sheer incongruence in your beliefs? It has to be embarrassing at some point. Don't forget involuntary lethal injections for the mentally ill. And then 2 days after he says that, there's a shooting at a homeless camp, and he gets to just apologize and not be fired. Interesting. What's up, Santana?
I would just like to call out the point that you guys are living in the past, right? Everything that you guys are talking about, it's like so far ago. I would like to talk about today. Like today, Donald Trump literally said that he hates his opponents and he does not want the best for them. His words. Literally, I hate my opponents. So, I mean, maybe we should update like the evil shit that comes out of their mouths.
Yeah, I mean, let's just we could talk. There's so many examples. It's actually, we forget some of the insane things that he's said and done. So on Thanksgiving, when we're supposed to be coming together, right, and spending time with our families, happy Thanksgiving to all, including the radical left lunatics who have worked so hard to destroy our country, but who have miserably failed and will always fail because their ideas and policies are so hopelessly bad that the great people of our nation just gave a landslide victory to those who want to make America great again. Don't worry, our country will soon be respected again. Like, this is what you say on Thanksgiving? Radical left lunatics?
Why can't I turn on my camera? That's weird.
There's a lot of weird stuff on TikTok right now. People can't click on the guest boxes.
I was gonna go band for band with you with like bad Donald Trump tweets because I have like a bunch of them. Oh, Dan, are you in game mode?
No, if I was in game mode, I wouldn't be able to take guests at all. I did accidentally go live in gaming mode, but I didn't do the horizontal, so I can when I go live next, I'll switch it back and then I'll see if that fixes it. But
all good. I just like I have a ton of Trump quotes, just like whether every holiday, every opportunity he gets to be the worst version of himself, he chooses violence, and the people on the right do as well, especially like Nancy Mace. Like she's just the worst, and she makes me ashamed because I'm from South Carolina. So it's just they're all horrible.
Yeah, here's one from Veterans Day, a day that we're supposed to be honoring our nation's veterans. We pledge to you that we will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists. Oh, but remember, y'all all claimed that bullet had the word fascist on it, so it must be someone on the left. People on the right don't call others fascists. But anyway, we pledge to you that we will root out the communist, Marxist, fascist, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country, that lie and steal and cheat on elections. The threat from outside forces is far less sinister, dangerous, and grave than the threat from within. Our threat is from within. This is on Veterans Day 2023.
Wait, so was he talking about Eddie Guerrero? Never mind. We'll keep going. I don't understand like how anyone on the right could think that they have any type of moral high ground. Like it doesn't make any sense at all.
The thing is that they don't think. Like you said, I don't know how they can think. They can't. Is the problem. They're one of two things. They're either evil and know they're evil but don't want to admit that their ideals are evil, or they're just too stupid to draw the lines. Really, all that's left for him.
Well, they are stupid. They are. Dan, I'm not gonna hold you. It's become harder and harder to quote unquote debate. I had a bit of a mini crash out last night because, like, I felt like I was talking to a lady that was an NPC on Erica's Live, and no matter how many times I asked the question, she couldn't answer it directly, and I'm just like, why can't you just answer the question? I don't even care if like your answer's bonkers. Why won't you engage with the question?
Yeah,
because it's part of the alt-right playbook.
That
literally they have videos out teaching Republicans and MAGA how to debate, and that's one of their tactics.
You are lying.
No, dude, there's a whole video episodes on this. It's the alt-right playbook. Just search it up on YouTube. It's little cartoon characters. They've got, I don't know, 15 videos of it. Bro, like I don't know if they just learn this shit by like osmosis or what, but like they all do the same shit. They all follow the alt-right playbook and their techniques and tactics for debating. Even the dumb ones do it. And I honestly think sometimes, like, there's two types of people, right? There's smart people, or no, I'm sorry. There's more than two types, but there's like a smart person could always play dumb, but a dumb person can never play smart.
Oh, but
and I think a lot of them are just dumb and they don't know how, they're just kind of like tripping along, but they're doing it fucking perfectly. So I wanted to mention Donald Trump's speech today. Like, Dan, you should go back and watch Donald Trump's speech. Not the whole Charlie Kirk bullshit, because that was fucking silly. They were literally they kept slipping, I guess it was a slip, for like half a dozen times. They called him Charlie Christ instead of Charlie Kirk. They kept calling him Charlie Christ. It's fucking weird. But go back and watch Donald Trump's speech. He was just tattling on himself for 20 minutes. He was just telling everybody. So he was having these conversations with Charlie before Charlie died, right? Like Charlie said, please, sir, save Chicago. Shit like that. And he asked him to go to Tennessee and save Tennessee as well. And Donald Trump's just telling us, these are the cities that I'm going to invade next. That's all he's doing. He's having these fake conversations with Charlie Kirk and tattling.
I think that's like a great thing to talk about TikTok, but something that just like clicked in my mind and I forgot to say, how the fuck are we not talking about what Donald Trump tweeted out to Pam Bondi? How are we not talking about that?
Because that was an accident.
So, okay. I think I don't know if any of you follow Adam Mockler. He put out a pretty good video analyzing this, basically saying like he doesn't think it's an accident, and rather he wants the public to be pressuring Pam Bondi.
That's what I thought as well. I literally thought that he was trying to pressure her.
I'm not gonna lie. I think it does need to be discussed, but I do not want to do it tonight. So if you guys want to talk about it, I will walk away. I swear, I'm okay with you guys talking in chat.
No. I can respect your boundaries.
Everybody go over to Santana's live.
plus, you wouldn't want to leave me with chat. Like, I mean, you would leave, we'd come back, we'd be doing whippets and like all kind of wild stuff.
Bro,
so.
Radicalize all 400 people in here.
Santana, don't forget, you could. This is the Anything Goes live. I'm the one that gets you violations by
Dan's got that privilege, don't he?
Well, you see, I'm here on my backup. Like, my main got banana for reading out a donation.
Oh
So,
no!
yeah, like, I don't know.
All right, everyone, make sure to follow Santana's backup while he's up here. This was the picture of Santana's backup has some lore behind it.
It does.
So,
like Peaky Blinders kind of lore. What is it?
You guys fucking suck and left me like hanging.
So, oh, they can't see you. Oh no.
Oh, they can't see the picture?
Yeah, because of either it's my fault for doing gaming mode, or it's because there's a glitch. I don't know.
No.
They can't see your picture unless you comment. If you comment, they can see it, and they can follow.
It's me riding on like a tank with like 2 American Eagles holding it up and like fucking fireworks shooting off in the background. It's fucking amazing.
Erica said y'all tried to unfuck America. That is wild.
Erica was in charge.
So when Erica asked myself, Santana, and a bunch of other creators to go on tour,
Erica directly recruited Jones.
Anyway, okay, so the lore behind Santana's profile picture is there was supposed to be over the course of the 3 days that we were in Texas, there was supposed to be a 1970s themed murder mystery. Okay. Now, a lot of us creators were pretty skeptical that we were going to fit a murder mystery anywhere into the schedule. It didn't really make a lot of sense. And they kept like pushing it back, and they said they were going to do it for breakfast for one day, and we're like, fucking what? No. And then ultimately they canned the murder mystery idea, and it was just going to be a 70s themed meal, like everyone dressed in your 70s attire. But like the last meal, Peyton was the suspect. These impeccable planning skills.
That's fucking funny.
Oh, what does he know about organization? Has she ever organized anything? She has no organizational skills.
So anyway, it was the last day, and we're all so tired because it was the dinner after the event. So a lot of us were there after the lights went out, after the sun set. Like it was like we were boots on the ground, as Neely said. Yeah, we were there.
Oh, that makes my like flesh crawl every time.
No, that makes my butthole pucker up when you say that, bro.
Have you guys seen the drawing of Jones with the boots on the ground?
No. Is there? Holy shit!
I don't know if somebody can get me where that is. Okay, it's like it's. I think he's holding a Starbucks cup because it's based on like that picture. You remember the picture when they went to Starbucks together?
Yeah.
If somebody can find that picture. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. Anyway, long story short, we're all tired, and because they kept changing the idea for when the 70s thing was going to happen. Pretty much nobody dressed in 70s attire. It was literally just Santana in the profile picture that you guys are seeing.
Santana came out looking like Tom Hardy.
And then,
listen. That's not even a full attire. I had a corduroy jacket. Like, first and foremost, I do too much. Not gonna lie. I had a monocle. I got a pocket watch. Like, I do too much. I enjoy like the aesthetics. And I walk in and like fucking everybody else is dressed normal. And I'm sitting here in my bowler hat and my fucking monocle on my eye. And I'm like, the fuck is happening?
Your monocle?
Yes, I had a monocle.
He dressed to the nines.
Awesome, bro.
He dressed to the nines.
Awesome.
That's
actually great.
There was one other person that dressed in 70s attire, actually. I don't know if you remember
that
who.
guy.
Huh?
Bro, I would have come in like disco attire. And you're coming in.
That's what I had in my bag.
Like a 1920s mobster, and that would have been.
That's what I packed, but I knew nobody else was going to dress like that, and I was also so tired, and I didn't want to dress up, so I just came down in regular clothes.
Oh
like
man,
everybody
I would
else.
have John Travolta'd all the way through the store, man, all the way through the restaurant.
Oh man,
which is hard to do, hard as fuck to do in a wheelchair, but I would have done it.
Like I was excited. I had a vest and a tie and like fucking everything.
That's funny, man. That's awesome, though.
It was a
You're
that
the
that
kind of guy I
was
want to bring to parties.
I said a costume party. I showed up in my costume.
Yeah, hell yeah.
all right. I love you two both so much, but
All right, man. I hope you feel better. Take care.
Bye,
Y'all be
Dan.
safe out there. It's fucking wild.
Feisty, thank you so much for the $5 on YouTube. Oh wait, YouTube chat. Hold on. YouTube chat is saying Santana, I love you. Erica Hart. There's some love being thrown from YouTube chat. Thank you, Feisty. There a way to call in Walter White's free movies. There will be a day. If you don't have TikTok, we'll figure out. We do need to start doing more on YouTube for sure. TikTok is already doing a good job uploading videos, which is great because like I don't know why the part of my brain that would allow me to upload videos on YouTube wasn't working. But we also need to start like maybe taking guests on YouTube or maybe doing solo YouTube lives. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm tired. I love you guys so much. And I'm really sorry about canceling the live last night. If y'all want another debate live sometime this week, I'll try to fit one in, but no promises. I'm only on. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for somebody to raid real quick. Look for somebody to raid. Take Twitch and YouTube. Love y'all. Thank you, Feisty. I appreciate you as well. Okay, Twitch and YouTube. Love y'all, but I am going to end your live streams. End your live streams, and then we're going to raid somebody on TikTok. So bye Twitch. Bye YouTube.